a.m. weekdays. Fantastic.
It's 12 minutes after 8. You're listening to Today 95.1 FM, Voice of the People. Welcome to the show. This Tuesday, the 16th day of July 2019. I am Ani Abdisalam, and I am most delighted to welcome you as you join us this morning. We'll be with you as you engage your day, and hopefully we'll have time for interaction much later. So we'll start with the newspaper review. The newspaper review, we'll go through some captions of some headlines in some of the dailies, and then we'll try to just have our thoughts on that here in the studio. Unfortunately, we won't be taking reaction to that from listeners. And then that takes us to 9 o'clock, where we intend to move into opinion poll. So let's get this started with This Day newspaper. And in This Day newspaper, we have presidency. We haven't given up on Leah Sharibu and Chibok girls. Presidency. We haven't given up on Leah Sharibu and Chibok girls. Tribunal admits Atiku's evidence, video evidence in petition against Buhari. That's also in This Day newspaper. This Day newspaper has a caption: Obasanjo calls for national confab, says Nigeria is on the principe. Obasanjo calls for national confab, says Nigeria is on the principe. You find that in This Day newspaper. We demanded $30 million ransom to free Buhari's district head, says suspected kidnapper. We demanded $30 million ransom to free Buhari's district head, says suspected kidnapper. And then Lawan, 118 Nigerians killed in South Africa. Lawan, 118 Nigerians killed in South Africa. We also have in This Day newspaper, Oyo governor publicly declares assets worth over 48 billion naira. Oyo governor publicly declares assets worth over $48 million. You'll get that story too in This Day newspaper. So let's quickly go through some of them. We'll run through them as quickly as we can. I have Emmanuel here with me in the studio. Emmanuel, good morning.
Good morning, Annie. Good morning, Nigeria.
And then I also got Fine Face Dumnamen. Fine Face, he is a public affairs analyst and Masop spokesperson. Good to have you here.
Good morning, Annie. Good morning, Rivers people.
All right, so let's start with presidency. We haven't given up on Leah Sharibu and Chibok girls. The presidency last night reacted to the conclusion drawn by CNN journalist Aisha Sase in her book. Well, I think former CNN journalist Aisha Sase in her book that the federal government of Nigeria has abandoned Leah Sharibu and the remaining Chibok girls in captivity to their fate, saying it is untrue. The presidency was reacting to Sase's admission in her new book, Beneath the Tamarind Tree, written about the 270 Chibok girls kidnapped by Boko Haram on April 14, 2019. That was not 2019, the word you came that 2019 was 26 Chibok girls.
Oh, long ago.
April 14, 20...
Chibok girls was the first about 2014.
2014.
Yeah.
April 14 or so, 2014.
During Jonathan.
It was Jonathan's era. It was 2014. It was 2014.
Yes.
So except if they're talking about when the launch of her book was...
Just 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
If it was when Chibok girls were taken, because the way it's written here, it's more about the kidnapped of the girls than the date of the book launch. Dissatisfied by Sase's conclusion in the book, Senior Special Assistant to the President and Media and Publicity, Malam Garba Shehu, in a statement said Nigeria's government's determination to rescue the girls, along with Leah, the lone Dapchi schoolgirl held back by Boko Haram when it released her peers on March 21st, 2018, over her refusal to deny her Christian faith, remains strong. He acknowledged that the book could be useful in dissecting what it described as crimes against humanity, and added that it would also assist in rallying international support for the young captive girls. Shehu was also swift to add that whereas it was notable that the author acknowledged that the government of President Muhammadu Buhari had secured the release of 50% of the kidnapped Chibok girls, the author was yet wrong by her submission that government did not know who it should negotiate with in view of the split Boko Haram into two factions. The presidency wishes to seize this moment to reiterate the government's unwavering determination to secure the release by peace or by force the remaining 110 Chibok girls, Miss Leah Sharibu, and all other citizens held captive by terrorists. It is imperative to do this at this time in view of doubts that may arise following the release of a new book, Beneath the Tamarind Tree, written by written about the kidnapping of 270 Chibok girls by Aisha Sese. The book should serve the useful purpose of spotlighting the crimes against humanity by Boko Haram terrorists, etching it permanently on the public mind. In addition, the book should rightfully stir up interest and rally international support for the young girls on the continent who must stay in school and avoid early pregnancy and marriage in order to actualize their God-given potential. I said this is a misrepresentation of the position of government on split in leadership of the terrorist group into two contending factions. When government spoke on the issue, it was clear that this split had the effect of making negotiations and reaching an agreement a more difficult talk. Otherwise, this country and our international partners are still engaged through third parties with the terrorists, the statement said in part. Admitting that the government had no information on where the girls were held captive, a factor, he said, had militated against efforts to secure the release of all the girls. The presidential spokesman was quick to add that notwithstanding the situation, it was not enough reason for the author to conclude that government had given up on the Chibok girls. Well, I was trying to get to the point he was trying to make when he says the division between Boko Haram is doesn't bring about the confusion as to who to negotiate with. And all I see here, he says, is just a misrepresentation of the position of government on split in leadership of the terrorist group into two contending factions. Okay, well, that said, that's what Garba Shehu replied to the book launched by Aisha Sese.
Well, I certainly believe that I will disagree with the author that government has abandoned them because perhaps it won't be that easy to negotiate. Let's say in the case of the Dabchi girls, government moved in, except otherwise somebody is insinuating that it was government that made the arrangement to tell them leave Leah Sharibu behind. I don't want to believe that. So I believe that government moved in and the insurgents have a way with themselves and decided what to do. And at that time, you can't strike at them militarily. You will also endanger the life of the person you are trying to take back. Even as I'm hearing that a government will now get them by force or through negotiation, let them remove that force completely if we truly want to have the girls back. I think what the book serves, in my own view, is to alert government that if you had hastened up whatever negotiations you are doing, put more vim into it, you would have been able to secure their release before now that this book will come out and start. Because if they had been released, this author won't be writing about this. It may be focused on another experiences of the girls while in captivity and all that. But for me, I don't think government of Nigeria has just forgotten them. I don't think so.
Okay. Fine, Mr. Nabena, what do you think?
Yeah, I congratulate Issa Sese on her book. I listened to her on their channels, CNN, talking about the book and details there, and then they started airing about these Chibok girls again and what happened. Now, to a very large extent, I think we align with her on the fact that the government had technically abandoned the remaining Chibok girls because nothing was being said or talked about them before this book was released a few days ago. And again, no effort is being made the way it was made in the past to secure those who were secure. So whatever it is, I think the key thing that is going to be on the way to solving this problem is time. Time will tell whether the book is saying the truth about whether or not they have abandoned the remaining Chibok girls, including, Leah Shaibu. But I believe that the government, they need to do everything they can to bring these girls back. But if the administration of Muhammadu Buhari ends in 2023, if he's in office till then, based on the fact that we have cases in the tribunal, then we'll get to know whether or not this girl can be released.
Okay, then. We have Lord Asher Frank. He's a monarch, publisher, and leader of the Bridge Organization Global. Good to have you here with us, Lord Asher Frank.
Thank you very much. My pleasure to be here.
All right, so let's get your thoughts with that. The President says we haven't given up on Leah Sharibu or Chibok girls.
I know that it's not every day that government should be talking over one issue. If the head of a government have in several fora consistently said they have not given up on them and that the processes they are pursuing is ongoing, and we know that the fight that occasioned the action in the first instance is ongoing, then I will not in any case doubt the government that they are doing something in that respect. It is not one of those everyday issues. It's not a run-on-the-mill issue. It's a difficult matter, difficult because we are dealing with hard criminals and they are in possession of little girls that you will want to retrieve alive. So it's not an easy process. But if they have been able to get what they got before, I think they can deepen the process and do more. Unfortunately, so much time is being lost. But in situations like this, you must be prepared to lose time.
All right, then. That story is in this day newspaper. Presidency says we haven't given up on Leah Sharibu and Chibok girls. Then we also have in this day newspaper this caption here. This says tribunal admits video evidence from PDP and Atiku, PDP and their presidential candidate Atiku. Tribunal admits Atiku's video evidence in petition against Buhari. States President Muhammadu Buhari, the Independent National Electoral Commission, and All Progressive Congress (APC) yesterday failed in their bids to stop the People's Democratic Party and its presidential candidate Alhaji Atiku Abubakar from tendering video compact discs, that's VCDs, as evidence to prove their petition that the president did not lawfully win the February 23rd, 2019 presidential election. The Presidential Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Abuja dismissed the objections and admitted as exhibits 48 VCDs tendered by the petitioners. The 5-month panel, led by Justice Mohammed Garba, in admitting the documents, dismissed the objections raised by the respondents on the grounds that the documents sought to be tendered were in line with the agreement reached by the parties and adopted by the tribunal. Buhari, INEC, and APC Council in their submissions had objected to the admissibility of the video evidence on the grounds that the documents were not front-loaded, not part of documents agreed, and that they were taken by surprise by the petitioners. Atiku and his party are alleging that the February 23rd presidential polls were marred by widespread rigging. Usman said INEC did not support any bid by Atiku and PDP to play the video recordings for the tribunal to see and to admit same as exhibits. He added that the video VCDs were not front-loaded by the petitioner and that INEC, which conducted the election, has been ambushed. He told the tribunal that only documents front-loaded will be allowed to be admitted as exhibits. Well, regardless their arguments put forward, the tribunal went ahead to allow the admissibility of those videos. Emmanuel?
It is either tribunal allows any evidence or disallows it. You see, for me, I'm not moved at all with all these exhibition of video and whatever. Because, you see, there certainly must be certain things that will be accepted and the ones that will not be accepted. That video, assuming accepted and all that, cannot alter everything. So let Nigerians give the tribunal. I know that this is at this appeal court. It will reach the Supreme. And then after everything, I have said this severally. I don't know why people are killing themselves about this. If Atiku wins at the tribunal, that is at the Supreme Court, he takes over. If he doesn't win, Buhari remains. There is both Atiku and Buhari are capable of handling this Nigeria as presidents.
All right. Time for in a minute.
I don't think there is anything happening at the tribunal that is strange because I have had the opportunity of going to court, listening to proceedings and what have you. If any evidence you have is in line with what the law says about the law of tendering evidence, the tribunal will admit it. After admitting that, the court will admit. After admitting that, then they go through, listen to it, watch it, and then see how that supports your argument. So whatever it is good. Whatever evidence anybody has, they should allow them tender. But I don't know, somehow, when I heard this story yesterday about the submission of how many videos to the tribunal, I was asking because prior to the election, we heard the fact that mobile phones should not be allowed at election venues. So I'm still thinking and wondering how they got the videos. And I know that Nigerian satellite have been missing. And even if it was up there, Atiku or PDP may not have access to extracting video from the satellite images. But whatever it is, I believe the tribunal is in a place to determine all those things.
Simple.
And I know quite well that for them to have admitted the evidence, maybe they know how the sources of those things come from. And even when you are submitting any evidence of such in court, the law says that you should even be able to swear affidavit talking about the fact that the device you used in capturing those images or videos, the integrity of the device was in place as at the time you did it. So a lot of things are involved. So it's not Uhuru at the moment, but the end will justify the means.
All right then. Lord Asher Frank.
Those are court processes. And We expect the lawyers that are defending whoever they are defending to prosecute their case and prove their case beyond all reasonable doubt. And whatever is admissible in evidence, the court will always admit it in evidence. So, as far as I'm concerned, there are court processes. What we are interested in is the verdict of the court.
All right.
Again, you know, as much as I do, that INEC itself, the umpire for the election, said they had no server. They didn't make use of it. Simple. That's the summary of the whole thing. Let them present everything.
Okay. Well, moving on, we also have here in this day newspaper, Obasanjo calls for national confab. That story is in this day newspaper this morning. Caption here says, Obasanjo calls for national confab, says Nigeria is on the precipice. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo yesterday expressed concern over the spike in cases of killings and kidnappings in Nigeria and called on President Muhammadu Buhari to pull back the country from plunging into an abyss of insecurity. Obasanjo, in an open letter to the president released in Abeokuta, warned the president that Nigeria was on the edge of a precipice and urgent steps must be taken to find lasting solutions before Nigeria witnesses the Rwandan-type genocide or turn to another Yugoslavia. His letter, which detailed the security challenges confronting the nation and his suggestions on how to resolve them, including a national conference, elicited varied reactions from some critical stakeholders. The leadership of the Southern and Middle Belt Leaders Forum, Pan-Yoruba Social-Cultural Organization, and the main opposition, People's Democratic Party, aligned with Obasanjo's position, calling on Buhari to take the former president's warning seriously before it's too late. But the former liaison officer to Second Republic President Shehu Shagari and a founding member of Arewa Consultative Forum, Alhaji Tanko Yakasai, dismissed the content of Obasanjo's letter, describing it not only selfish, but also unpatriotic, ill-conceived, and a clear invitation to national disaster. When this day contacted one of the presidential spokesmen, Mualam Garba Shehu, via telephone yesterday, he said he was working on a statement conveying the president's reaction to the letter. And Obasanjo, in the letter dated July 15, 2019, addressed to Buhari, a copy which was made available to journalists in Abeokuta, said security challenges should no longer be ignored, treated with nonchalance, and swept under the carpet or treated with levity. What do you think here?
Well, I'm happy another letter is coming out at this point in time. I think people are taking notes, and I believe this is not the time to rush to the press to print a book which are titled The Obasanjo Letters. We have to wait until the day he joins his ancestor, because more letters will still be coming as far as Nigerian problem persists. And then, I don't know, because the nation now, the country now has charged up, because one of them was killed. The daughter of one of them was killed. So everybody is up and doing now, trying to see how these security situations can be addressed. That is why what we keep talking about, that unless it happens to them, they wouldn't know. There is never a day in Nigeria that people are not killed. And they don't even care. When we're shouting, they will not care. But now, the daughter of one of them was killed, and all of them are out. Letters are coming out. People are taking action everywhere. I am happy that this single day that has sparked up this kind of action across the country will lead to them looking for a way of addressing this problem. I think the letter by Obasanjo should not be dismissed with a wave of the hand. It should be given attention. They can forget about the messenger and look at the message he has brought forward. I'm sure that looking into the content of that letter and convening those meetings he talked about with traditional rulers, the security chiefs, and whatever, may lead to a way that solution will come towards this problem.
All right. Let's have your thoughts here, Lord Asher Frank.
You see, first, let me say that I don't belong to the school of thought that says, take the message and leave the messenger. I don't belong to that school of thought. Words have limited meaning. It is only the understanding of the character of who uses that word that gives it full meaning. Whoever says anything, the understanding of that thing he says depends on the background the person is coming from. That is how words work. So as far as I'm concerned, I cannot take a message and leave the messenger. Of course, the first person who recognized Lord Jesus Christ as Son of God was Satan. But the conversation did not end on the Jesus Christ said, get thee behind me. Because he knows the source of who was giving that word. Another source would have said, I know you are the Son of God, and he would have hugged him or her. So I will look at the message side by side the messenger and be able to understand where he's coming from and what he meant. As far as I am concerned, Obasanjo, and every other group that is reacting positively to what he wrote are all members of the PDP. If they are not card-carrying members of PDP, they are open sympathizers of the PDP. So I group them as the opposition. When I look at, I have never read any of the Obasanjo letters the way I read this one. Even this morning, I know I read it over 5 times.
Okay.
This morning. And what I saw in that letter dazed me.
All right.
Even when the Irish Republican Army was taking on the British state, the Sinn Féin that was known as the political arm of IRA never even issued a letter of that character. That letter was very succinct. My summary of that letter is, all the insecurity in the country can be solved when you stop blame games and bring everybody into a table to work with the government. That's my understanding of that letter. And if I look at that letter from that perspective, I will not look very far to find the source of the insecurity in the country. I took time to look at that letter, and I saw where Obasanjo went into ethnicity, and he did it in some detail, right? It begins to, if you look at the reading of that letter, the reading of that letter is very clear. The focus of that letter is very defined. And as far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't have seen a better spokesperson for the violent organization ravaging the country than this letter and its author. It's like the spokesperson of the terror gangs. If, for instance, you were a sincere character in advancing the cause of the nation, if you are, and you know that issues bordering on national security, even the security agencies don't go public with it. I know that no matter how quarrelsome you are, the Nigerian situation have overprotected these past head of states and presidents, such that even when they are not in talking terms, they answer their hotlines. You could have as well sat down with whosoever and give your opinion. I never saw any solution in that letter to all the rantings. What was proffered as a solution is what Obasanjo himself, as an all-knowing president, never accommodated for one day. You are calling for a national confab, and he listed the people to be in that confab. First, he said the government should stop its blame games. And then he listed the names of that confab. And most of the persons he listed in that confab are persons that have questions to answer to the Nigerian state for one past activity or the other. So what are we talking about here? Are you ambushing the government?
All right. Okay.
You can't ambush the government.
All right. We got your thoughts on that. Let's move on. That story there says Obasanjo calls for national confab, says Nigeria is on the precipice. Emmanuel, did you get to say anything here, or should I just move on?
Yeah. The letter, certainly certain salient points exist there, and Obasanjo maybe is in love with writing letters. He might not choose another means to go to the, because I know he has access to Aso Rock. But if he doesn't want to go, he publishes a letter. It's still okay. But what I think is that I hate this system of kettle calling pot black. Chief Obasanjo was there for 8 good years as a civilian president. I don't want to talk about the military angle. Now, there were problems that were there. You see, I have stated earlier on, a child born this year, 2019, must grow bigger in 2025, like that, till when it becomes 30, 40. These problems have been there even when Obasanjo was there. And they keep on growing because collectively, it's like the leaders are not giving it adequate attention. And what I expected is, having been a veteran of administration in this country, he should have profiled solutions to this administration.
Well, that's the solution right there, a confab. He says we need to speak about this. We need to sit down.
I am not one person who believes in this confab. 2014 was there now, just most recent. And what did it achieve? When even Chief Obasanjo organized something like the kind of confab he's talking about, but what came out of it? The problem is not just, I'm talking about this angle of killings.
He also did mention the fact that security must be returned locally or regionally for us to be able to achieve. He says, obviously, the security is overwhelmed. And he says that unless we're able to go back to some sort of regional security architecture or local security architecture, we might be unable to fix this problem.
On the side of insecurity, I think government should look at holistically however they can tackle it. But I tell you, if you remember what happened at LD and all that, that's why I said from boarding stage, it keeps on growing. What Chief Obasanjo, instead of returning security to the local, he now opted for the military to be sent there to decimate, as it were, that particular area.
So does that mean
and
that...
he is the person... No, I'm coming. It doesn't mean it shouldn't be talked. That I've accepted his position, that his security should be tackled holistically. I know. But what I'm only saying, let him not be saying as if himself is very neat. No human is quickly clean.
Okay, moving on. We demanded $30 million ransom to free Buhari's district head, says suspected kidnapper. One of the suspects arrested over the abduction of the district head of Daura, Alhaji Musa Umar Uba, an in-law of President Muhammadu Buhari, yesterday spoke on how they demanded 30 million naira from the family of the traditional ruler before they could release him. The suspect, Yusuf Dahiru, who was paraded in Abuja along with 39 other suspected kidnappers, however, said they were yet to receive any ransom before their arrest in Kano. 13 of those paraded were involved in the abduction of Uba from his Daura home in Katsina State on May 1st. Uba was, however, rescued at Ganganrua quarters in Kombotso local government area of Kano State on July 1st by joint security operatives. During the parading of the suspects yesterday, the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Muhammad Adamu, called for stringent penalties to discourage kidnapping, which he said was thriving because of laxity in law. Another suspect, Sarkila Abdul, said the two suspects received training in Libya on how to disarm armed personnel, especially security agents, and conduct ambush attacks. Parading the suspects yesterday, Adamu called for tougher legislation against kidnapping. He said when you don't have a uniform law, they are advised by their legal handlers to move to places with weaker laws. It is important that there is uniformity of laws to stem kidnapping. I'm calling for tougher legislation at the federal and state levels as a matter of urgency to review the laws and make them stronger as it relates to kidnapping. All right, Imana, let me get your thoughts here.
Well, the suspect said they were yet to receive ransom, but they were demanding $30 million. That's very good. If it had reached them, they would have become very rich. But, of course, let them calm down, and that money will be given to them after everything. Well, we had the district head back. That is the most important aspect of it. But then, I don't know exactly their trainings. Are they not the people profiled there to have received training from Libya?
In Libya, on how to disarm security operatives.
You know, sometimes things don't stay as they are. So their training, their lesson in Libya failed them. I think government should do more in trying to hunt down certain people that are arresting or kidnapping others. Simple.
All right, we've got your thoughts there. Fine, first in the minute.
Yes, the caption was like, we demanded how many million dollars. I said, did they get it? But thank God, as you read down, they were yet to get it before the law caught up with them. And that is what we are talking about. We need more policing at the local level. And I think as a way of addressing these in-season security, problems across the country, the issue of, state police should be given attention. So when we have state police, we have vigilantes in various communities working in tandem and in hand with, the state police and the federal police. We'll be able to have this thing because we are in a country where we don't even have 500,000 police officers going by the records. And these people are to police at least 180 million people. How is it possible? So I think what we need to do is to see how we can improve security in the nooks and crannies of this country and then begin to see how we would not allow this kind of thing happen. But for that to happen to the district head of Buhari's, community or area there, it means that they were targeting the president. Since they couldn't reach him, they decided to go for his district head so that money can come out. But they didn't get it. If they have gotten it, they won't only spend it on themselves, but they will use it to acquire more arms to cause more mayhem in the society.
All right, we got your thoughts there. Lord Asher Frank.
First, one thing has been confirmed here. that Mr. President is right, has always been right with his intelligence and intelligence at his disposal. And that means his security chiefs have been up to scratch. His security architecture have been doing the job he gave them to do. We have seen victims now that have confessed that they are part of the terrorism network that is rooted in Libya. And there is something again that fascinates me about the revelation from this team. The fact that part of that training is that they should go to areas where the laws against kidnapping is weak, right? So if a state has law that kidnapping is death sentence, they will avoid such a state. By that statement, that's what it means. So if the federal government has a law against kidnapping and puts that law side by side that of armed robbery, I'm sure that it will scare a lot of them away from the Nigerian shores. So now that we know that ISWAP stroke Boko Haram stroke headsmen are actually transnational in character, in funding, in logistics, in training, what I will expect Nigerians to do is not to want to take advantage of that situation to pursue some personal political goals, but to deal with national security as a matter of priority that affects everybody. If you shoot in the marketplace, you cannot be sure that your mother is not buying something at that time, or that your sister is not even selling at that time. Maybe when you left the house, they told you they are going to visit somebody, and they got there, and the person said, "Please, can you walk me to the market?" And then they walk them to the market and shoot at you. Before you will be surprised that the person that is dead is not whom you intended to kill. So, as far as I'm concerned, issues of national security should be dealt with by everybody as a matter of survival of everybody. If you think you can latch on it for cheap goals, well, whoever gets caught in the crossfire, we thank his God.
All right, we got your thoughts there. Joining us is Chief Loveday Okere. He's a social political analyst. Chief Loveday Okere, good to have you. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
All right, so the kidnapper says they were demanding for $30 million. They were yet to get any money before they were apprehended in Kano, where they had taken the district head, who is also an in-law to the president.
I don't know why they should be telling us how much they were demanding. They should face the trial. Whether they are demanding 30 million or 100 million at this point, it does not matter to Nigerians. What matters most now is that the one or two has been apprehended. The security agents should fish out the remaining ones, and if they cannot lay hand on the remaining ones, the law should take its course. If the law of this, the law in Katsina is that anybody that is caught committing kidnapping should be free, they should free them. If the law, because they are saying that they are operating where
they think it's lenient.
Thank you. So if the law is lenient there, they should free them, let them be working until when the state, when the governor of Katsina State and the assembly will deem it necessary to make a stringent law that will stop kidnapping in that area. However, I want to say that anybody that is involved in kidnapping in this country, no matter where, state laws shouldn't. We say we have one. There's one court in Nigeria. It can either be a state, the lower court, the court of appeal, and the Supreme Court. They are all one court, managed by headed by the CJN. So once you are being prosecuted for one offense, the law is one in Nigeria. So coming to tell me this, they operate where they look for excuses to see how they can free criminals. I don't buy into that. So once you are caught in criminal case of that nature that is biting Nigeria today, if they want to free the nation, they can free them with any excuse. However, the law should take its course. That is my own.
All right. Well, that is in this day newspaper, and it says here suspected kidnappers said they were demanding $30 million for the district head. For the district head they were thinking. Then you have here Lawan, who says 118 Nigerians have so far been killed in South Africa. That is president of the Senate. He says 118 Nigerians have been killed so far in South Africa. Emmanuel, let me quickly get your thoughts there.
Quite unfortunate. That number is, we're not talking about the number of ghosts here, humans who have gone to another African nation and lived there and are targeted and killed. Well, you see, when we are talking about this, also we should prune our statement because who knows exactly what some of them are doing, though, there. Because that it is your neighbor's house, you get in there and then you do certain things that you should not do there, you receive the penalty. Now, but at several levels that has been termed xenophobic in this form, that people will just because of whatever bounce into other people's, push into their stores and then do this and that and have them eliminated. I think government of Nigeria has been very lenient. There's a level it will reach if government had been very much serious on this issue. They could summon their ambassador or whatever and then at least even temporarily break relationship with them so that they will know that government is serious. Government of Nigeria is serious. But this one looks like they are giving them the long rope and this rope is becoming longer and longer. Why would they be killing Nigerians in that fashion? And are Nigerians the only people there? But every Nigerian also should check his own course of action there in South Africa.
All right. 5:15 in a minute. There are quite a number of Nigerians who are saying, I mean, what sort of foreign, diplomacy laws do we have with South Africa? These killings have been going on for long, and it seems as if we continually are handling that issue with kid gloves.
Yeah, Nigeria, sometimes when we talk about the fact that Nigeria does not respect human rights or value its citizens, people think that we are just trying to castigate the country. Like when Amnesty International put forward such statement, they will say Amnesty is castigating them and against their government. That is not true. If South Africa had killed just one American citizen, just try it. You will hear from America. The figure that the Senate president gave, maybe is for 2019. More Nigerians have died in South Africa than that figure is giving out. Because I listened to the chairman of South African Nigerian Union in South Africa. He was telling us about how Nigerians are killed. And this number that you even see publicly are those that they get to know that are killed. A lot of them are killed secretly. But Nigeria has not been able to do anything. I know the role that Nigeria played for South Africa to regain its state that it is today, to pull out of apartheid policy. I know the role that Nigeria played. But Nigeria today is playing a kind of game with South Africa, not taking any action. South Africans are living freely in Nigeria. Their businesses are thriving in Nigeria. They are making so much money from Nigeria and repatriating this money back to their home countries to develop. But then they will turn around and be killing Nigerians, and Nigerian government cannot do anything. Why you even see the Senate now speaking the way they are speaking is because a senior Nigerian citizen was killed in a hotel room. After that, you will not hear anything again. Just like a daughter of a senior Nigerian leader was killed, and you're beginning to hear action here. But other Nigerians have been killed over the years and nothing. I think they should take very concrete action so that we'll be able to resolve this issue once and for all. Just after all this killing, South Africa days ago granted Ghana visa-free into their country and never answered Nigeria.
Yeah, of course. There's no love lost between South Africa and Nigeria. Let me have your thoughts on this now, Lord Asha Frank.
You see, I love something that Emma just said. I love something Emma said now. The truth is very bitter, but the truth is always what sets us free. There are things you do in certain places you find yourself, or things that people from where you come from do in certain places you find yourself. It could draw it against you. You could inherit the results of the actions of your forebears and your people, positively or negatively. Let the truth be told that when apartheid in South Africa collapsed and a black man emerged as the president, there was a large exodus of Nigerians to South Africa. And that first team of Nigerians that went to South Africa were predominantly Yahoo people. Let us tell ourselves the basic truth. When my friend and business partner in Lagos, who was a computer expert, we were in the same office. Both of us were doing a different thing, but he has his own company that was purely on computer. When he went to South Africa to spend about a year. Came back after 3 months. And that was over 10 years ago. Came back about 3 months. He said he can't stay there. I said, why? He said virtually every computer expert from Nigeria, South Africa is seen as a fraudster. He couldn't. He brought Infinix to Nigeria. He brought Informat to Nigeria. Right? He said he couldn't stay there. What he did is he got a partnership agreement with Informat and came back here. And they were doing back and forth without his going back to South Africa anymore. The actions of Nigerians in so many places, and they are over hostile. Is it only South Africa? It's everywhere.
All right.
You get to any airport anywhere in the world, they tell the Ghanaian to go, they tell the Senegalese to go, they tell the Nigerian to wait. Why? Because of the activities you've robbed
So
more.
does that allow for 118 of Nigerians to be killed?
You see, first thing
Because
first.
obviously it's not by the government of South Africa.
No,
exactly.
When you hate is originated, people begin to do things they're not supposed to do. What I expect the Nigerian government to do is to liaise with the South African government as any other government they are friendly with, and ensure that we work out a different kind of agreement where Nigerians that commit crime in their countries can be repatriated home to come and serve sentence here, instead of laws being taken into people's hands in order to lynch people in the kind of xenophobic attacks we are seeing. I know that so many governments around the world do that, where you can have an agreement. If my people are guilty there, you can bring them here. But before they can also do that, they have to have confidence in your judiciary. Because they will not want a situation where they repatriate somebody that they have hard facts about criminal activity back home, and they get here, and your legal system sets them free, and they hop in the next available plane and go back there and commit more heinous crimes. So the Nigerian state should use its diplomatic channels to ensure that first, Nigerians that go outside Nigeria behave well, and where any of them fall short of the law, nobody should take the laws into their hands. There should be an understanding where the prosecution process should involve both the country where they are resident and the country of their origin.
All right. We got your thoughts. Chief Loveday.
Thank you very much. I think there are bilateral agreements and treaties that Nigeria and South Africa must have reached that is protecting each other in terms of goods and services among these two nations. I can never agree that maybe the first set of Nigerians who enter South Africa are Yahoo persons. For that reason, maybe that is the reason why they are being attacked. No, I don't agree. In as much as there may be one or two that may not be doing the genuine business, but even at that, I have watched xenophobic attack against Nigerians and other countries in South Africa. You see shops being looted, shops. You see some other big organizations be looted by South Africans in the name of leave our country. You come and collect our women. You come and take our jobs. These are genuine businessmen and women in South Africa. So it's a pity here. We're on the crossroad. Why I say this is that if an outsider is aware that you have 10 children, and within this year 10 children, if people are involved killing yourselves, instead of 10, you are now 6. The outsider will now know that he can come and kill the remaining 6 and nothing happens. In Nigeria here, South Africans, Ghanaians, I'm sure by tomorrow Cameroon may join, or other West African countries or other nations. They are very much aware that in Nigeria here, we are killing ourselves. It's either herdsmen is attacking us, or Boko Haram, or bandits are killing us, or kidnappers are killing us, ourselves. If Nigeria cannot stop the killing within Nigeria here, how can Nigeria stop the killing in South Africa? Is it possible? It's not possible. My advice here is that if you are a Nigerian and you are aware that you have somebody in South Africa or even in Ghana, tell the person if he cannot defend himself there, if he's not protected, let him come back home. So that when he dies, he can easily be buried here, since there is still death here waiting for him in Nigeria here. Nigeria government will not save them with what is on ground. It's not possible now. So let nobody come and say to that, hey, like, enough of that. I've said my own.
Okay, good. We got your thoughts. Finally, Oyo governor publicly declares assets worth over 48 billion naira. That's also in this day newspaper. Unfortunately, we'll be unable to take that right now. I will take this quick break. The news update comes up next. Perhaps we'll look at that when we return.
Court, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
All right, then it's 58 minutes after 8. You're listening to Today 95.1 FM. I've got a representative from Odibola. I've got Joy Hosfall. Good to have you here, Joy.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Port Harcourt. And I'm here with the sweet and juicy news of the invest and travel promo with Odibola Properties. But yeah, I know a lot of persons, even during the weekend, were asking me, is this real? My dear, it's as real as my voice live on air. You understand? So you won't be in your house to know if this is real. You have to come out. Ask of Odibola Properties. Come to our office, visit the office, and know more about this promo. Well, I will give you details about this particular property, all you need to know about it. So this property is located just after the international airport. You access it through the airport. Now you enter through the airport gate all the way down. After the international airport, the new international airport, you go further and you see a road by your left leading you straight to the property. Now, this property is not something you buy and keep for as long, hoping to develop. It's something that is already developed. It's somewhere you can buy and build. We have set up the electricity, the power supply there, and we have also made up the access road very accessible. So this is a property where you can buy and build, and I can give you some little ideas on what you find there. You find residents in the place. You can build a warehouse. You can build a guest house, something that is at least less noisy, because it's a residential environment. So you can do a mini estate within the same layout, because it's a layout, but we're giving it an estate feel by making a perimeter fencing all around the 400 plots we have there. So you can buy and build immediately. It's just going for 1.5 million naira. Now that is beautiful. And for doing business with us on this particular property, we are giving you a trip to Dubai. Now this is not a lottery. It's to thank you for doing business with Odibola Properties. We've been running several promos. So for this one, you just buy as much as 5 plots. If you're able to get 5 plots, you're having an all expense paid trip to Dubai. Now, you're not just going to Dubai, you're going to experience a lot of things. You're going with Akas Baba and his family, and you'll be with some of the Odibola team. So you know that this is a beautiful one. It's not going to be a boring trip, because you're going to be visiting the desert safari. We'll be going to the IMG World of Adventure. I know so many of you may not know those places, so you need to join us on this trip. And you also see the Dubai frame. This is a beautiful architectural landmark in Dubai. And you can also have a little money for shopping. You understand? You have your fun. You also have the UAE visa, all from us. Your return flight ticket with Etihad Airways. This is going to be awesome. You also have your daily breakfast from the Studio Arabian Plaza, Studio M Arabian Plaza. You can check this online and see these beautiful places for yourself. So you would have this long throat to come around. So you have 4 nights accommodation in this particular 4-star hotel. And if you're able to get just 1 plot or 2 plots, you have the same package, but not for 2, but for 1 person. So you have a raffle draw. You will be qualified for a raffle draw, which you alone will be entitled to this beautiful trip. So as I said before, the property is going for just 1.5 million naira. You're having a buy and build property. So this Saturday, you can join us and see this property by 10 a.m. All you need to do is visit our office at Tombia Extension, GRA Phase 3, in Yawale in Sirim Layout, just before the Liverpool Hotel. Or you can call my number on 070 123 645 10. I'll call the number again, or you can also text I am interested to 070 123 645 10, or you call Mr. Marachi on 0813 348 79 7968. I'll call the number again, 0813 348 7968. All you need to do is just holler at us, call us, and we'll attend to you immediately. By 10 a.m. Saturday, we are going to see this beautiful property, which I know you would love to invest in. Thank you very much.
All right, then. Thank you so much for coming around. This is where we wrap up here. Stay with us. The news update comes up next.
Has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. News update.
Hello and good morning. Here's the news update on Today 95.1 FM. I am Annie Abdul Salam. The presidency has cautioned against the politicization of the death of Funke Olakuri, the daughter of Afenifere leader Pa Ruben Fasarati. The presidency described the incident as tragic and regrettable, but adds that politicizing it will not help the unity of the country. In a statement by the senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, the presidency expressed reservations over comments being made by some Nigerian leaders over the incident. It called on all Nigerians to work together to fight insecurity as a national problem. Meanwhile, the Ondo State Police Command says it has made a number of arrests over the killing of the daughter of the leader of the Pan-Yoruba social political organization, Afenifere, Funke Olakuri. The police reiterated that its men were still in the forest in the local government in search of the hoodlums. The police public relations officer in the state, Femi Joseph, also promised that the command will not relent until the perpetrators were apprehended and brought to book. On the number of those arrested, Joseph said he will not be able to disclose the number for security reasons, but said a number of suspects have been arrested and will be paraded in due time. The Rivers State Police Command says it has smashed a kidnapper's den at a forest in Omerelu, Ikwe local government area of the state. Spokesman of the command, DSP Namdi Omoni, in a statement said operatives of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad stormed the forest in a sting operation yesterday. DSP Omoni said on sighting the police, the hoodlums engaged them in a gun duel, but were repelled and chased further into the forest, with some of them sustaining life-threatening gunshot wounds. He added that the camp of the kidnappers was dismantled and set ablaze while weapons and ammunition were recovered. And now to the foreign scene, the 4 United States Congresswomen attacked by the U.S. President Donald Trump in tweets widely called racist have dismissed his remarks as a distraction. Representatives Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley, and Rashid Tlaib urged the U.S. people not to take the bait. Trump had suggested the 4 women, who were all U.S. citizens, can leave the country. He has, however, defended his comments and denied allegations of racism. And that wraps the news update here on Today 95.1 FM. Thank you for listening. To have a pleasurable morning.
Are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM. Your premium talk radio station. Today, 95.1 FM. Listen to this important announcement. Fertility Awareness Month. Fertility Awareness Month. Fertility Awareness Month. Fertile 24 Fertility Center present a free fertility consultation for fertility cases to every man and woman who visits our office in the month of July 2019. Our office is located at number 1 Chief Amadi Street off Ada George Road, opposite Open Doors Church, Port Harcourt. You can also visit our website at www.fertile24.com and enjoy free nationwide delivery when you place an order. For inquiries, please call 0818 580 1242. 0818 580 1242.
Hi, Mommy.
Hello, my love. Missing me already?
Yes, Mommy. When are you coming?
Aw, next week, darling. And I'll be bringing delicious meals for you and all your friends.
Okay, Mommy. I can't wait to see you. Love you.
Love you too.
She says she's bringing food next week.
All of you, keep quiet. Oh yeah, fetch my water now. I can't be late for assembly.
Yes, SP.
Tunde, you're exempted.
Good taste creates great memories. Relive the memory of delicious meals cooked with Mr. Chef Seasoning Cubes. Available in multiple variants. Mr. Chef Seasoning Cubes are available at your nearest market or superstore. Mr. Chef Seasoning Cubes, creating delightful memories.
Wake up to today's quest.
Wake up.
All the news and information you need in one go. Get started with the best of sports, lifestyle, analysis, and Annie.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
Can you feel it? Wake up to today's quest with Annie on Today 95.1 FM from 6 to 11 a.m. weekdays. Fantastic.
Opinion poll on today's quest.
More than 3 over 4 of the loots we are talking about in this country today were loots within the 16 years.
Here is a great opportunity to sample all our opinions on the issues raised.
In Port Harcourt says the PDP is trying to divert our attention because Nigerian funds was looted by the PDP. Melody in Uniport says Madam Jonah is yet to come in terms of the fact that her tenure has expired. Annie, please tell him that investigation is not what you make public until the final stage.
Send your opinion to us on Facebook,
www.facebook.com/Today95.1 FM.
or on Twitter @TodayFM951. You can also sample your opinions with us on WhatsApp or on our SMS portal using the numbers 070-1933-9962. Welcome back. It's 10 minutes after 9 and you're listening to Today 95.1 FM, Voice of the People. And what we have here for opinion poll is, I think this is from the Guardian newspaper. And of course, it's one of the so many reactions to Obasanjo's letter, open letter to the president, where he decried Nigeria was on the precipice and that we need to do something urgently concerning the insecurity in the nation. Now, Balarabe Musa urges anti-Buhari protests as Nigerians back Obasanjo. To many Nigerian leaders across different parts of the country, former President Olusegun Obasanjo spoke their minds yesterday. They agreed with the ex-president's dire warning in a letter to President Muhammadu Buhari that the country is on the precipice and war can only be staved off if urgent steps were taken to stem the raging tide of insecurity. In the open letter to Buhari, Obasanjo expressed the fear that the nation's security crisis is dangerously reaching a tipping point where it may no longer be possible to hold danger at bay. The former president on February 2018 sent a similar letter to Buhari accusing him of failure in leadership. He urged Buhari not to contest the 2019 presidential election. Now, in the latest letter dated Monday, July 15, 2019, copies of which were released to journalists in Abeokuta, Obasanjo said that he decided to make it open because the issue is very weighty and must be greatly worrisome to all concerned Nigerians. To him, the issue being addressed borders on life and death and therefore cannot be ignored or treated with cuddling glove. Obasanjo listed what had been giving him a headache and sleepless night as the precarious security situation in the country, especially the Boko Haram insurgency that has been on for 10 years, and the atrocities of herdsmen. To him, both issues have been mismanaged. The letter reads in part, with the death of Funke Olakuri, daughter of Afenifere leader Chief Ruben Fasarati, Nigerian groups are saying enough is enough. I am constrained to write you this open letter. I decided to make it an open letter because the issues are very weighty and must be greatly worrisome to all concerned Nigerians, and that means all right-thinking Nigerians and those residents in Nigeria. Since the issue is of momentous concern to all well-meaning and all right-thinking Nigerians, it might be of great concern to you, and collective thinking and dialoguing is the best way of finding an appropriate and adequate solution to the problem. The contents of this letter, therefore, should be available to all those who can help in preferring effective solutions to the problem of insecurity in the land. Mr. President and General Buhari, I'm deeply worried about 4 avoidable calamities: abandoning Nigeria into the hands of criminals who are well being suspected rightly or wrongly as Fulani and terrorists of Boko Haram type; spontaneous or planned reprisal attacks against Fulani, which may inadvertently or advertently mushroom into a pogrom or Rwanda-type genocide that we did not believe could happen, and yet it happened. Similar attacks against any other tribe or ethnic group anywhere in the country initiated by rumors, fears, intimidation, and revenge capable of leading to a pogrom. And violent uprising beginning from one section of the country and spreading quickly to other areas and leading to the dismemberment of the country. Without being immodest, as a Nigerian who still bears the scars of the Nigerian civil war on my body, and the son who bears the scar of fighting Boko Haram on his body, you can understand, I hope, why I'm so concerned. When people are desperate and feel that they cannot have confidence in the ability of government to provide security for their lives and properties, they will take recourse to anything and everything that can guarantee the security individually and collectively. All right, so that's part of his letter. And I'm trying to get to where Bala. Okay, good. Now, in a reaction, elder statesman and former governor of Kaduna State, Alhaji Abdul Qadir Balarabe Musa, urged Nigerians to protest against the alleged poor handling of the nation's affairs by President Buhari in order to avoid the looming doom in the country. Musa, who is also the chairman of the Conference of Nigerian Political Parties, CNPP, said it is time Nigerians should come out and protest against this insecurity in the country and the level of poverty in Nigeria today. We should not be afraid to tell the government the truth. It has never been so bad in the country. This government of Buhari is the worst in the history of Nigeria, and every patriotic Nigerian should come out and talk to Buhari and save this country from war. According to Musa, if the president cannot handle the security challenges, poverty, unemployment, and the gloomy crisis, it shows that he has failed. But the former governor urged Obasanjo should not be the one saying it, because during his tenure, he did not perform well. And even the Yorubas know this and did not support him. All that he said in the letter is the truth. Buhari's present government is the worst in the country. He is not uniting the country. What is happening today in Nigeria is not helpful to peaceful coexistence. The insecurity in the country, poverty, unemployment, and threat to the unity of the nation are unprecedented. And Nigerians should rise up to protest against these. There is nothing to fear about it. Let us save our nation, Musa added. All right. So, Emmanuel, this is the point for Balarabe, that Nigerians must gather together and protest against what they believe is the failure that this administration has brought upon us. And he agrees with the postulations of Obasanjo, though he's upset that it's Obasanjo that is saying it. He says Obasanjo had the time to fix what he should have fixed, but he didn't. But yes, he agrees with the letter. So we'll just take that point going forward. Some people might not appreciate that Obasanjo is the one speaking, but they cannot deny the fact that those were truths that he had put out there. And for Balarabe, he thinks the next line of action, not a confab, not dialoguing, is the protest. Unlike Obasanjo, who says that a dialogue is necessary.
Well, I think
so if it's not a dialogue, if it's not a protest, what will it be?
Well, I think one has to be executed between the two because Chief Obasanjo's zone is better in terms of dialogue. Sitting around the table to talk is always better. You see, the angle of protest, one thing is that Balarabe Musa, what he said is exactly what I stated earlier on. I accept Chief Obasanjo's gloomy picture as far as insecurity in the country is concerned, especially today, because you are not talking about yesterday. But then, the person saying it, how did he fare? A technical question could come. Should we continue the way he fared? No, we won't. But that's why I said, let him not present himself, his picture, as that of course I did better. No, because at the stage it was, it's not at the stage it is now. And there must always be growth according to years after years. Now, Chief Obasanjo's alarm on insecurity, even the president himself, I'm talking about Muhammadu Buhari, should understand. I have lived in this country for quite some years, and I have been monitoring issues in terms of security. But I have never seen where Nigeria has been as divided as it is now. I stand to be challenged by anybody. There is absolutely no section of the country that doesn't have one grouse against insecurity in particular, because that's what looks like is very holistic now. And when such is happening, I disagree to say Chief Obasanjo will not be the one to say it. My worry is only saying it instead of utilizing the relevant channel, which of course will be that he has access to government. Just like Asha Frank was saying, even if you are not maybe in speaking terms now, you could call and tell this particular person. After all, he claimed that he was his, he called himself Oga or Buhari, which of course we understand in the military circle or hierarchy. Yes. But then, always coming to sound that alarm openly looks like you are presenting yourself as being better than that particular person. Who says Buhari may not pick some of the advice Obasanjo may offer to him, maybe secretly? So, that angle of Balarabe Musa's protest, I tell you, the problem of protest is that when you start it, it may degenerate into another thing. And at that time, you will not be able to, it will look like the allegations against politicians. In the run-up to elections, they armed the youths. But after, now glorying in the fact that if they had won, they won't retrieve the arms. And these youths, since they are no longer receiving pay, will not take to criminality. If Nigerians should come out and embark, maybe let's say every state, there will be a crowd that will come out and start protesting against insecurity. I tell you, hoodlums, these people that have made the nation insecure, will also join in the protest and make it a hell of insecurity to reign. So I think Chief Obasanjo's variant of dialogue or conference, as you may call it, will be better. The problem, the fact is that both Chief Obasanjo, all the past leaders, and every Nigerian should think out solutions and then suggest to government. Truly, this security in Nigeria is at its apogee.
All right then. All right. Fine, finish them a minute.
Yeah, in a situation like this, what we all need is constructive criticism, because nation building is not one man's job. It is something that we have to do collectively, even we that are seated in the studio. Our opinions we are offering here is to see how Nigeria can be shaped. In the terms of Obasanjo, he has issued a letter in which he also offered his opinion to Nigerians, and it is incumbent on the leadership of the country to either accept or reject it. Coming from the angle of Balarabe Musa, well, that's his opinion that Nigerians should protest. But if you ask me, I will say that the first opportunity by Nigerians to protest has been lost. And that was during the 2019 general elections. Because if a man is not doing well, it is through the ballot box that you can get the best protest ever. But then the man got into office, even if some are saying that he never got to office because Nigerians never protested, but because he reached his way into office, which is what the tribunal is about to decide now. But be that as it may, I think that What we need to do at this point in time is that people should begin to speak up the way they are speaking up. We look at the messages that are coming from each person. Then the government of the day should filter these messages and look at which criticism is constructive and offer solution to the problem. Then we all look at it and see how we can move forward. But if we all wait on Buhari as a man or his government to solve this problem, like Soyinka said, it's never something we can achieve. We have to look at the problem of Nigeria holistically and see how we can collectively solve this problem. Barabe Musa has been very active in politics since the 1970s. By 1981, earlier then he was governor and he was impeached in 1981, and 38 years after in 2019, he's still very active. I know that one way or the other he has been contributing his quota to the solving of the problem, but how far has he gone? I think we need to take concrete steps and forgetting about this issue of, protest is something we can do, and it's a way of registering your grievances over a particular issue and calling for it to be addressed. But who is going to lead that way? Obasanjo has tried all he could, even to the point of forming the other group he formed before the election, and it didn't work. And even in his letter, he talked about protest to a kind of revolution, and it's not working. If they want us to take this step as a way out of this problem, they should lead the way. They should start a national movement, and those who buy into the idea will join, and we see how we can solve the problem. Because I know that nation building is a collective process. There are things that Obasanjo could not do, which we expected the government after him to do. And now that Buhari is in power, no matter how he struggles, he cannot solve 50% of Nigerian problems till he leaves office. But we need to solve the problem we have now by joining hands with the government of the day to build the nation, and not trying to drag down the people that are already there, unless the court drags down such person.
All right, okay. We've got your thoughts there. Lord Asher Frank, over to you.
First, I refuse to agree with those old men, those grand old men, that this is the worst Nigeria have seen. I refuse to agree. I don't know the kind of history they were telling us, because if we are considering what happened between 1966 and 1970, and somebody who is supposed to be an adult at that period in time will come and tell me that this is the worst situation Nigeria have witnessed in whatever parameters, I consider it as mischievous. Secondly, like I said earlier, I don't belong to the school of thought that believes that you can take a message and leave the messenger, because the messenger's antecedents gives a better understanding to the message is given out. The train of thought between Barabe Musa and Obasanjo can only be understood when you know where they are coming from. Obasanjo is a reactionalist, coming from the background of military interventionism. Balarabe Musa is the last standing leader of Marxism-Leninism in Nigeria. That was why he was impeached, because of his ideological bent when he was governor. It is consistently him. When the June 12 elections came and the imbroglio that followed the annulment of that election, Barabe Musa was on the table when NADECO was formed. But it is why he agreed with the message of NADECO, he disagreed with the structure of NADECO. And he went and formed the June 12 movement. The man who lost the election is not an ideologue. He's a conservative. So he took side with NADECO and put his money there. And that was why people did not hear much about the June 12 movement led by Alhaji Balarabe Musa. In a situation of crisis, a Balarabe Musa as a Marxist-Leninist will always like to push for an opportunity for a revolution. And Obasanjo will push for an opportunity for reforms. That is their background. That's where they're coming from. Having said so, let me go to the Obasanjo letter proper. You see, like I said earlier, I am old enough, at over 50, I'm old enough to talk about the Nigeria that I have seen. I'm very much old enough. And I know some of all these wonderful Nigerians, quote and unquote, leaders, quote and unquote. If there's any problem today, they created it. And they went into government, helped themselves generously from the national purse. when they can no longer be in government, they become a member of one ethnic group somewhere that is aligned to a political party. And such alignments have never even at any point helped national cohesion. You have every ethnic group having their... I don't belong to any ethnic organization of any ethnic group. I don't subscribe to it. I deal with ideals and ideologies, and I make friends across the board. I don't go into one small cocoon and try to become relevant by shouting some shout of one ethnic arrangement. No, I don't do that. I'm not afraid of playing in the big league. And that is what I expect whoever is aspiring for leadership, whoever has become a leader to do. But you see, in Nigeria, people, when they get afraid of playing in the big league, they now become one leader or one spokesman of one ethnic thing here, one ethnic thing there. And those ethnic things are antithetical to national unity and development. Their very existence is disunity in itself. And you can see, there is, we are here, if we are trying to look at the situation of security from 1999, we are all here now, we are not all blind here. We got to a point in insecurity under our Obasanjo regime that Nigerians' export of oil was less than 1 million barrels a day. From an optimum level of 2.1 million. And as of today, we're doing 2.1. As of today, Nigeria is lifting 2.1. At Obasanjo's regime, we got to a point where it was less than 1 million. That is the measure of the level of insecurity at his time. At that same time, he was so uncomfortable with insecurity that he hung his thinking cap somewhere and rolled the entire military machine to go and crush one small village to the ground. That was how bad insecurity was. It was also under that regime that the Boko Haram sect was incubated. It was under that regime. We were also within that period that we were having Masob here. Then it was not IPOP first. We were having Masob here. And it was that same period that we had that rivalry between Ganiyu Adams and Fashami over OPC that tore the whole Southwest down. And Obasanjo had to leave Afenifere and went and formed the Yoruba Council of Elders, which was adding more fuel to the fire. That was the level of insecurity. That was the level of poverty. We got to this point where all these matters have been nipped in the bud and a new one have emerged. And what is that new one? That new one is banditry. I always like to put all of them together as banditry because these are not organized groups. It is only when you have organized groups pursuing a violent approach, you can discuss because you will now begin to ask questions. Why are you doing this? And whether rightly or wrongly, they can put an idea on the table and you can work on that idea, rightly or wrongly. Like in the case where we had in Niger Delta, where people pretended that they are campaigning for, they are agitating for something and got paid when we knew they were not agitating for anybody. So, when you have unorganized arrangements of this nature, I will always call it banditry. And then, in a country where you are hammering a transnational force with the full strength of your military, you must expect banditry. It must be expected. Handling that banditry, to me, is not a matter of raising alarms the way it is being done. It's not a matter of people converging under opposition in whatever guise of ethnicity or whatever and inflaming a situation that is not supposed to be inflamed. You raise it to high heavens to pursue certain political goals. That's what I'm seeing here. You have banditry. There are certain roads you could not pass. Not quite long ago, the whole Rivers West senatorial zone, which is my senatorial zone, was inhabitable. As I'm talking to you, we virtually have no banks in the whole of that senatorial zone. All of them are packed. We have companies packed, right? But today, life is nothing there. Peace has been restored there. The kind of actions that we are seeing in Ahoda, Omok, and all those places then, it's not what is going on now. That is progress of work of government. Right? And I expect that people who are eating from that same government, they are eating from the government. They are paying them pensions as former head of state, former governors, former this, former that. People who are eating from that government should be able to be. What are you? You collect money from government. Are you not part of the government? How do you divorce yourself from the government now? A government is paying you, changing your car, building your houses, renovating your houses, renovating the chair in your house, changing them. Are you not part of the government? So what contribution have you made in your own little way? Is it one person? When Obasanjo was president, was it only him that was working in Nigeria? Was it only him? If the system had failed, all those who are eating from government that form the leadership of the country have failed together. As far as I'm concerned. Because there was a discourse we had somewhere, and I told people that the best solution of banditry is local action. Because we know ourselves. Every community knows the bad boys there. The fear is, if I talk, somebody somewhere will leak what I say, and I will be unsafe. If that area is taken care of and information flows, banditry will be curbed. Right? People kill people on the roads. We see so many that were gotten. People were kidnapped. We see so many that are recovered. The security agency is working. We see so many. The East-West road that I pass every day, the kind of tragedy in the East-West road few months back is not the kind of tragedy that is going on now. That is not to say it is completely wiped out. It's not people who are working to bring that about. So, as far as I am concerned, if anybody, if the system has failed or is failing, I will derive the action of that failure from two actions of Obasanjo. I'll hold him responsible.
All right. Then.
One, it was Obasanjo who promulgated the land use decree. And most of the problems in Nigeria is land. The problem of Ruga is land. The problem of oil and gas is land. And it was Obasanjo who promulgated that decree in 1978 and confiscated the whole land in Nigeria. It was him. If we are talking of corruption in government, it is a decision by Obasanjo. He brought this expensive presidential system of government that is not known to Nigerians. He brought it. Created two houses of parliament. Approved money for them. Willy-nilly. So if your actions of yesterday have boomeranged today, what I expected you to do is first and foremost to be somber. And being part of the system, you see how you can get those actions to be addressed. It's not to shout to high heavens that this and that will happen, that and that. Of course, serious terror actions have taken place in Central Europe. And those countries are not disintegrated.
All right. Okay.
Right? So, I have not had anywhere in history, I need Obasanjo to come and educate me. I have not had any country in history that banditry separated.
All right.
I have not had.
Okay. All right, then. We got your thoughts on that. Let's also move down to Chief Loveday Okere. Chief Loveday Okere, your thoughts here.
It's like this new son of a courtesan is giving Nigeria a nightmare. Banditry. You know, it's a recent song that is produced by courtesan in Nigeria. So, and the nightmare is biting harder and harder. I will title my opinion this morning in this way: emancipating ourselves from mental slavery is the only thing that can save us. There are two groups of persons I hold responsible for whatever pain Nigeria is passing through today. Two groups of persons.
All right.
One is the people, you and I, the Nigerians. And the next group of persons is the parliament. These are the two set of people that can make Nigeria better. Why do I say so? In Tokyo, as I speak with you, only a policy statement from the government that we are about getting a parliamentary backing, the people said no, we don't want that. And they have been on the street for about 2 weeks now. The government is not thinking about policy again. They are thinking of how to contain the people, how to say, okay, go back. the government is thinking about that now. But in Nigeria, we would have been very, very comfortable. We would divide ourselves into 4 groups. When one is protesting against the government policy, another group is wearing white. The one protesting will wear black, the other one will wear white to counter that particular protest. We, the people of Nigeria. In parliament, they are elected to represent us. But for the fear of those of them that are in the same political party, I don't want to hurt my political party. You see a very negative policy coming from your party, you are unable to rise up and say, no, this will haunt me even when I'm out of government. If only Obasanjo had known that land use decree or land use act will haunt Nigeria today, he wouldn't have done what he did in 1978. Today, I think somehow Obasanjo may also be feeling the pain. Sometime when Theresa May assumed office in UK, a particular public building caught fire and rendered so many citizens of United Kingdom out of home. They were no longer having where to stay. A baby of less than 10 years old made a statement calling on Theresa May to make sure that the citizens have a place to stay, to make sure that the people of United Kingdom do not suffer. It was recorded and played. That particular tape caught Theresa May's attention, and it was deliberated in parliament. A baby of less than 10 years old. Today, we are discussing Obasanjo's letter. We are discussing Obasanjo's letter because it is Obasanjo. What if I write a better letter more than what Obasanjo has written? Who will discuss it? Will it make any meaning in this country? Will anybody give it attention? This is the reason why I titled my opinion this morning that we must emancipate our mental slavery. We must emancipate ourselves from mental slavery. Nigeria is where Nigeria is today because the people have refused to do what they are supposed to do as a people. Only in this state, Annie, only in this state, I can comfortably sit down here and count only 6 persons. Only 6 persons. If they bring out the money they have, Nigeria will, River State will turn to be better than Dubai. Only 6 persons in this state. I mean River State. If they come out to that and say, okay, I have repented, let me buy the idea of restitution so that the state will be better, and they bring out all that they have in their coffer they have stolen from River State. River State will turn to Dubai. In fact, Dubai will be a small city compared to River State. But these words are with this few number of persons, minute persons in the society. Same thing as in Nigeria. I can comfortably sit here and count 100 persons in Nigeria. If they restitute in Nigeria and say, okay, let us enjoy our wealth, you won't hear of banditry again. You won't hear of military, because it is only the environment where you find yourself that can encourage the kind of action you take in that particular place. If you do smoke in their Anne, if I enter this studio, I cannot smoke. The environment here can never allow me to take in their here. I can only do that in the bush. So if Nigeria is surrounded by bush everywhere, no infrastructure, no hospital, no electricity, no good schools, where people see, look, only a good school can make a child to say, okay, this particular school, they have everything. I will be attracted to go to that particular school. But where the students will only go and sit down on the floor when they go to school, no desk, no teachers. Already the child is already discouraged from going to school. He's already thinking of how to go and join. Since in the class he sits on the ground, on the floor. In the bush, he will also sit on the floor to take in their hand. He will join the people in the bush where it's more comfortable for him. At least no teacher will flog him there. He will not pay school fees. That one is free of charge. So what I'm trying to say is that these two group of persons, if we change, forget about the presidency, forget about the governors, forget about whatever, but this group of persons, the lawmakers and the people of Nigeria, why I say so is that if a lawmaker or the parliament makes a law that will better the citizens of Nigeria, and the president or the governor refuse to give assent to it, the people will now gather and say, until you give assent to that particular bill, this we will shut down your government. By the time it happens once or twice or thrice, the government will begin to sit up. But Today, Obasanjo has written a long letter. Well, I don't want to tackle the letter to say the letter is good or the letter is bad. Reason being that in democracy, there are legitimate ways of passing messages. One is writing open letter to the government, which Obasanjo has done, which several persons in Nigeria have also done, but because those letters are coming from people that are not known in the society, they are not giving attention. The only problem I have in this situation is that he who goes to equity should go with clean hand. Chief Obasanjo, having been the former president of this country, shouldn't be more that of antagonistic that he is, that he's always been to sitting presidents. No matter how genuine, no matter how good Chief Obasanjo's statement or letter are, but his actions towards every sitting president makes them look at whatever opinion he brings on the table as reading negative meanings to it. I have read through some of the things he wrote in that letter. For instance, there's a particular passage where he said that the main issue, if I may that say, is poor management or mismanagement of diversity, which on the other hand is one of our greatest and most important assets, our diversity. But the big question here is the banditry that is ravaging Katsina State and Zamfara State. Are they killing the people from South? As to say that it is because diversity was mismanaged between the people of South and the people of North has made the banditry from the people of North to be killing the people of South. The banditry in Zamfara is an internal issue within Zamfara State, which of course is within a particular ethnic group, within a particular diversity. The kidnapping or the courtesan in Port Harcourt is ravaging people within Port Harcourt, within the same ethnic group. So the issue that Obasanjo raised here is, for me, I discountenance it totally. It is not one of the problems that President Buhari may not have mismanaged the diversity in the way he understands it. Perhaps if he had said that, brought the issue on the political aspect of it, to say maybe President Buhari has decided to favor a particular ethnic group, by so doing it has caused this crisis. We'll begin to look at that, which I will also reserve my comment. But in this context where Nigeria is being ravaged by banditry, kidnapping, we are not even hearing of militants again in Niger Delta. Niger Delta is even quiet. If it is of militancy, I would say that we have total peace in Niger Delta. The only thing we are seeing now is people beheading themselves, killing courtesan here and there for no just cause, which is even insignificant in the country as of today compared to what is happening in the north, where the bandits and the Boko Haram, where the other one is ravaging the country, making it impossible for people in that part of the country to go about their normal lawful business.
So Valariba says that we must rise into a protest, an anti-Buhari protest.
Thank you. Letter writing, protest, these are processes. But if you are protesting, if you want to protest, what are you going to protest for? Are you going to protest against Buhari because Buhari has asked people to go and kill? Yes, it is his responsibility to fish out whomever that's
the perpetrators.
Yes, it is his responsibility as the
well, I guess the protest will be on failure of the government.
Thank you. But now, Babalabe Musa, Chief Obasanjo, and so on and so forth, have they offered their candid advice? Have they brought the solution to Nigerians before they begin to call us to go and protest? They are also calling us to come and protest. What is their contribution towards national development? I've said here that if you count some few Nigerians for them to restitute and bring the wealth of Nigeria to their position, that things will be better. Because if I see good road, if the environment is well cleared, and schools are built here, bandits will not see where to operate. They may decide to go to the high sea, and if they survive and they succeed there, they take it. But because of environment, they have refused to develop the environment. They all have the money in their pockets there, and they are calling us to come and protest for who? Protest for who and against who? In this country, the only thing I'm saying is that the people of Nigeria has provided the constitution where the people that have the power to give it out to whomever we wish to must rise up. The parliament that we have elected into office must begin to look at the laws to better the nation. Because if they make better laws, and these laws...
So how do we challenge these people to do that? Because I think
who
that
have
is
elected
crux.
senators and House of Rep members.
How do we challenge them to do that which we desire?
I have said here that in the Ninth Assembly, I said it even before they were sworn in, that if I have my way and the people are not doing what they are doing, that I will lead a protest. I said it here against members of the National Assembly to do the right thing. Because if they refuse to, okay, people are talking about confab. If the National Assembly should do the right thing, Obasanjo will not come and begin to tell us to go into confab that was done in 2014 that he did no result. In Nigeria, we have well over 250 ethnic groups, and every ethnic group have other sub-ethnic groups. How many persons will be represented in that particular group? The only way we have captured our political differences is through the senatorial districts in this country, where we put them in the parliament to go and make laws, discuss about our issues. If they make a law that is going to be favorable to the country, and the president refuses to give assent to it, the people will rise. But don't be surprised that some senators that have been elected into office have never gone back home since they were elected. And they may not go back home till after 4 years. The people will not have any contribution to the government. It is whatever comes, we take. And they are all interested in the money. And at the end of the day, we remain where we are. Therefore, I want to say that the people of Nigeria, the parliament should rise up. Protests can never help us. Writing letters can never help us. But the parliament, once the parliament sits up and the people of Nigeria open their eyes and watch the government will sit up and do the right thing.
Okay, all right then. Emmanuel, let me get your point on this here. Well, his stress point here has been on parliamentarians. And he says for a national confab, you're still going to come back to the parliament because we saw that happen in 2014.
Yeah.
And even though we're saying we're going to protest, who really are we protesting against? Yes, the leadership and its failure, but that could have been fixed if we had parliamentarians who were ensuring that we had laws, that could stem the tide of the issues we have now.
You see, Annie, that is why, if you remember, I think about 4 days or 5 days ago, we were talking about ethnicity and all that.
Yes.
It came from Osebajo. We were talking about that. I said, yes, leadership, as I always sing like a song here, is the problem of Nigeria. However, no leader is leading alone. He has his people. And because Nigeria runs along the line of ethnicity, that is the problem. If you remember all the things that the parliament we are talking about, ordinarily, this is an ideal situation. The parliament is supposed to be the driver of any democratic governance. But they are not in this country. I have said this severally. The parliamentarians belong to one party, which has no name in this country. Once you touch the issue of money, all of them will belong to that party. And I assure you truly, we belong to this one party, even if we don't have a name. But come to national issues, they don't unite. You see, they start pandering to ethnic cocoons and cleavages. And that's exactly what happens. So if an issue comes up, you will now see the dichotomy. Those in the north supporting the north, and those in the south supporting the south. So if you now rise up, and we also have our individual problems. If you now say this particular person has done nothing to drive our national unity forward, okay, we want to recall him. The procedure, I don't know whether they were doing it for people to achieve it or just let it be one of the principles there. You will try and see that you will get yourself frustrated. At least we saw the recent one of Dino. And so it's a difficult thing. What Chief Okere is saying is, if it were well-managed society, the parliamentarians certainly will rise up. And so, but remember, the more or less are stronger than even the president because they can impeach him. In certain issues, they could rise up and be on top. But here in Nigeria, it's not like that. Even if the people urge them, like he mentioned, where you stay, you don't see your representative for perhaps at least on throughout his tenure. What will you do? You go to his house. Is it not when the gate is open for you before you enter? You stay outside, you go back. Now, the only thing Nigerians could do is like Balarebe Mosa is saying, protest. But I have asked a critical question. If you are protesting, can you control what will come out from it? Because you already know that people's eyes are red. And you are protesting. These people that are making life unbearable in the country will come in and become leaders of the protest and then wreak more havoc. So how do we go about it? You see, a lot of things have been said about Chief Obasanjo. He might even be addressed as a demon or devil himself. But I tell you that even if shrines or demons have those who are their friends and they help them, no matter how small. So, if Chief Obasanjo has written an open letter, that is only my problem. It's not that it cannot be a way to ventilate one grievance. What I'm only saying is that since no matter what, he has access to Asoro, no matter the occupant, he can still reach him privately and offer solutions. All this issue of open letter is making himself appear holier than holiness itself. And I don't think it helps any nation at all.
Okay.
Yeah, and what I want to add is that protest as a way of addressing problems in Nigeria may not work. Because right from time, Nigeria is not used to that kind of pattern, and that is because Nigeria got its independence through constitutional conferences, discussions, and dialogue. In countries where independence was gained by and through the barrel of guns, the people are active and they could go on the streets and make changes to happen through sustained protest. Look at what happened in 2011 when we had the fuel subsidy removal. Few weeks people were on the street, thereafter people left the street. Today, we are even buying fuel costlier than it was in 2011, but nobody's on the street. So I don't think that protest is the solution. Since we are used to discussing and buying time and killing time and things remain like that, we should intensify effort to bring the government and the people to the table so that we can discuss to see how we can resolve these problems. But if we talk about protest, I tell you, as you go on the street to protest today, by tomorrow, divide and rule will come in. Some people will pay certain amount of money and others will come and sabotage. Look at common NDDC here. We have seen protests. You see one protest and another one counter-protest just here. So you have that kind of thing happening. So what I think we should do is to pressurize the government, intensify effort to make sure that we go on that table to discuss our issues and then...
every day, every hour. When the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
Today, 95.1 FM. Port Harcourt. News update.
Hello and good morning. Here's the news update on Today 95.1 FM. I am Annie Abdul Salam. The Deputy Senate President, Senator Ovie Omar Gege, says the Senate is not happy about the growing security challenges facing the country. Omar Gege made the statement after a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa in Abuja. Although details of the meeting were not made public, the DSP said he only came to greet President Buhari. Speaking on the security issues in Nigeria, he said the Senate will support any security initiative introduced by the executives to tackle insecurity, especially banditry, kidnapping, and armed robbery. The presidency has cautioned against politicization of the death of Funke Olakuri, the daughter of Afenifere leader Pa Ruben Fasarati. The presidency described the incident as tragic and regrettable, but adds that politicizing it will not help the unity of the country. In a statement by the senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, the presidency expressed reservations over comments being made by some Nigerian leaders over the incident. It called on all Nigerians to work together to fight insecurity as a national problem. The University of Port Harcourt branch of Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and the Non-Academic Staff Union have joined a 3-day protest to demand a 30 billion naira earned allowance. The university staff are also protesting against the alleged federal government's refusal to obey a court judgment on staff school salaries. The peaceful protest, which drew scores of affected workers to the main gate of the institution, affected smooth vehicular movements in and out of the school premises. The protesting workers, who were armed with placards of anti-government inscriptions, want the federal government to live up to its responsibilities. And now to the foreign scene. The United States Congress, with 4 United States Congresswomen attacked by U.S. President Donald Trump in tweets widely called racist, have dismissed his remarks as a distraction. Representatives Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley, and Rashida Tlaib urged the U.S. people not to take the bait. Trump had suggested the 4 women, who are all U.S. citizens, can leave the country. He has, however, defended his comments and denied allegations of racism. And that wraps the news update here on Today 95.1 FM. Thank you for listening. So have a good morning.
Are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people. Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
You're welcome to the program. Let's talk. Flood has become a major issue in our society. Was there no proper drainage done for this flood? For this flood to be done? And it gets me thinking.
You see how difficult it is for them. Not all hosts know about the game. Hello and welcome to your number one news and talk radio station, Today 95.1 FM. We've got loads of news and gossip for you. But first off, let's go on a commercial break.
Radio has never been this good. Today,
glad you know now. Still your premium talk radio station, Today 95.1 FM, the news update at 1. The federal government is making plans towards the recovery of... Oh, they call my line again now. Hello?
Hello?
What
is happening? I've not been getting that desired result on my advert placed on radio.
You said you wanted a good place to showcase your products now.
Yes. Someone told me about Today 95.1 FM and I said I should call.
Okay, just come to Today 95.1 FM. I beg, I read news now, thanks.
On my way.
Sorry for that break. Still on the news, Governor of...
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
Every day on Today 95.1 FM, there's always an opportunity to comment and air your views on our various programs. It's not just about us, it's about you, your opinion, and your voice.
President, don't you think that it's time to step down, sir?
Be part of the story, the gist, reactions, intrigues, and the news.
President Neil Patrick Harris has called for greater regulation.
Give us a feedback or join the conversation on Twitter at TodayFM951. Our Facebook address is Today95.1 FM, or join us on the number 0701 933 9962. That's our WhatsApp application. Be informed, be educated, and have fun. We are Today 95.1 FM, voice of the people.
Cement, extra strength, extra life, extra yield. Development don't come out for inside of the city or enter for inside of the village area. For those of una wey need cement for inside of the village area, wey be say long truck no fit carry them enter that place. Make una call authorized distributors of Dangote Cement. They go use small truck to take carry your cement enter for inside of that village area where long truck no fit enter. You hear wetin I talk? I say then go bring your cement for inside of that area where long truck no fit enter at all. If you want to enjoy all these things and plenty better things, may you call these phone numbers 090-351-533-85 090-351-533-85 or 081-556-36874 081-556-36874.
95.1 FM, voice of the people.
And we're back.
Hold on, Kata. No, don't say else. Just bring 5,000 now.
Only. Make the Kata day. Make the code remain.
Yeah, they worry.
You were not aware you're a thief. Now that you know that your money is coming from a thief, do you not see why you're a thief?
All right, still talking about affairs of the federal government. We understand also that the federal government...
Welcome to today's edition of Beats and Pieces in the Premium Talk and Newsway.
And it's going to be 1-1 Malata. 1-0 is never good enough.
That's where we're called the voice of the people. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Act.
Here we go.
Peace is a situation where there is no war or violence in a society. Peace allows wealth to accumulate and the society to advance.
Through peace, generations of wealth, education, technology can build up, thereby making people very prosperous and happy.
Without peace, there will be violence, war, and underdevelopment in our society. The most disadvantageous peace is far better than the most just war. Let us embrace peace for a better society.
This message is brought to you by your Premium Talk Radio, Today 95.1 FM.
It's what I pray for all around the world. It's what I pray for my.
Opinion poll on today's quest.
More than 3 over 4 of the loots we are talking about in this country today were loots within the 16 years.
Here is a great opportunity to sample all our opinions on the issues
Amin
raised.
Potaka says the PDP is trying to divert our attention because Nigerian funds was looted by the PDP. Melody in Uniport says Madam Jonah is yet to come in terms of the fact that her tenure has expired. Annie, please tell him that investigation is not what you make public until the final stage.
Send your opinion to us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Today 95.1 FM, or on Twitter @TodayFM951. You can also sample your opinions with us on WhatsApp or on our SMS portal using the numbers 070-1933-9962. back 9 minutes gone past 10, and you're still listening to Today 95.1 FM. So very quickly, I think for the next 20 minutes or so, we'll want to look at that because we do have real talk coming up at 10:30. Oyo governor publicly declares assets worth over 48 billion naira. Oyo State Governor, Mr. Sheyi Makinde, yesterday made public his campaign promise to publicly declare his assets, saying he has 9 houses while his companies are worth over 9 billion naira. The governor, who visited the Oyo State office of the Code of Conduct Bureau, CCB in Ibadan, to receive a copy of the asset declaration form, said that his decision to make assets public was in fulfillment of his personal promise he made during the election. Details of the assets are contained in the CCB1 with the name Oluseyi Abiodun Makinde, which was declared at the High Court of Oyo State on May 28, 2019, indicated that the governor is worth over 48 billion naira. The asset declaration form marked OYSE contained details of cash at hand in the bank, landed properties, developed and undeveloped household items, share and bonds owned by the governor, his wife, Omini Makinde, as well as his companies. According to the details of the asset form made public by the Chief Press Secretary to Makinde, Mr. Taiwo Adisa, the governor of Oyo State had cash at hand in the bank worth 234,742,000 as of May 2018-2019. In dollar terms, the governor had cash valued at $30,000 at the same date. Properties, including the developed and undeveloped, as well as household items indicated on the asset forms, show that the governor is worth 2,624,800 as at the date of assets declaration. In dollar terms, the governor also declared properties developed and undeveloped, as well as household items valued at $4,400,000. In South African rands, the governor declared buildings and household items worth 4,457,544,000 South African rands. The houses declared by the governor include 9 buildings in Nigeria, 2 in the United States of America, and 1 in South Africa. One of the properties in the United States is described as jointly owned. The details show the current value of Makinde's companies stood at 48,150,000, with 33,730,000 units of shares as at May 28, 2019. The governor also has existing bonds worth $3 million as well as shares, debentures, and other securities valued at 120 million naira. The companies listed by the governor include Macon Engineering and Technical Services Limited, Energy Traders and Technical Services Limited, Macon Oil and Gas Limited, Macon Group Limited, Macon Construction Limited, and Macon Power System Limited. The asset declaration form indicated that Governor Makinde's 4 companies have additional assets denominated as loan notes, including Macon Engineering and Technical Services Limited, 1.7 billion, Macon Power System Limited, 148 million, and so on. While speaking with journalists at the CCB office in Ibadan, Makinde said, "I came here to collect a photocopy of the form that I signed in fulfillment of the campaign promise to the people that I will declare my assets publicly and release the documents to the public. I will encourage all the members of my cabinet to do the same thing, but in as much as they stay within the ambit of the law, I'll encourage them to do the same thing." So Emmanuel, he says, well, I had promised the people I was going to publicly declare my assets. He's done so, and it is estimated that he has over 48, he's worth over 48 billion naira. And
naira.
Yes, naira. And he has houses in US and Nigeria and South Africa. His companies have so and so. He was pretty much, explicit in how much he had and where he had them. You have some Nigerians who are saying, well, I mean, for a governor, it's pretty much okay. Others are saying that's a lot. And then you have people who are worried that people who come into government are only the very rich.
Well, I think it's not everybody that has been in politics. And, of course, the position of governor is as rich as Makinde. Of course, it's only when somebody gives us... gives us a little aperture to peep through, like he has done, that we can know the what, even though it might not be totally the what, but at least the one we have heard. But I think he has done well in terms of transparency. He has done exactly what he promised people during his campaign. How I wish others, especially like he has also mentioned his cabinet members will do the same. But one thing is that sometimes all these things we talk about, declaration of assets and all that, do they finally help? In principle, they do, but in practice, you cannot be very sure of an asset that will follow somebody even after everything. But I think the protocols also must always be maintained, and that's what Makinde has done, and I think it's a good one. If others will do, because even as we are talking, there are those who may not have even declared their own. What they are afraid of, I don't know. It's also good to know that Makinde, at least with the eye of transparency, he came into government. People will be looking at him at that way. Because these things, I'm not sure he has been a governor before. Maybe this is his second. Good.
Was part of a businessman.
Thank you. So from that start off, he's showing us how to look at him. It makes me remember when Rochas Okorocha was going to become a governor. The much money he had before and joined, I don't know whether it has increased or decreased now, I don't know, but at least it was in the class of Makinde. But whether he did declare in this term before he became governor is what Emmanuel Ndugwe cannot account for. But what I'm only saying is that it is good we know, so that tomorrow is not when Makinde, perhaps with the one he's paid as governor, now buys a car that will be larger than the normal. You start saying he has duped the states or your. But whatever be the case, let there be a check.
All right. Okay. Let me get your thoughts here. Fine face.
Yeah, there is nothing to celebrate about the fact that Makinde declared his assets. And him making that promise during his electioneering campaign that he was going to declare his asset, and he has done it now and he's boosting in his Agbada. I don't think there's anything to celebrate there, because you cannot give me what I already have. The law already made it explicit that whoever is stepping into political office like the one he stepped into as governor of your state, that he has to declare his asset.
Yeah, but did they say publicly? Declare the assets, usually they do that publicly, to the CCB.
Yes. Yeah, I know, but the making it public is also the law. So if he's doing what the law says he should do, nothing to boast about. But I think that he has done well by doing it the same way the way we expect it them to do, because a lot of governors, a lot of public office holders are not doing it. And that is why we talk about weak institutions. If the law has said this is what people need to do as they get into office or before they get into office, and people are not doing it, and the institution that is in charge of prosecuting people that have failed to do this are sleeping, then they are not doing the right thing and they are not performing and leaving their institution to the way they have to do. So I think that this is what they need to leverage on, and ensuring that every governor, every commissioner, or the president and everybody declare their assets, so that we get to know what he has declared and the over 40 billion naira that he has in assets. Well, it's good. But to me, I think it is more dangerous to have someone with this kind of asset in a public office than someone that does not have it. Because he has raised his living standard to an extent that the task before him now is to maintain that standard and improve on it. And to maintain these facilities and infrastructure he has listed now is even more expensive, and will even cost the taxpayers, public and people of Oyo State more money than having someone that has less than what he has. But whatever it is, I think it is an eye-opener for us to know what he has.
Yeah, but you know, the idea too that some people have is that, well, if they're extremely wealthy, they wouldn't be tempted to pilfer funds because they already have.
They may, because they need to. It has a kind of empire.
I think
they
they'll
have
take
built.
more when they are wealthy.
Because they have built an empire that they need, lifestyle they need to sustain. You see, because if you are not as rich and you are paid, let me say, 2 million naira monthly, you'll be contented with that. But when you have raised your standard to the extent that 2 million naira is just what you spend per night in a party to host friends, I think the state is in trouble. But be that as it may, we need to watch out and wait for him to declare his asset at the end of his tenure.
All right, then. We got your thoughts there. And now to Lord Asher Frank.
In a country like Nigeria, and I see a billionaire governor, I'm very uncomfortable. Because this is not America. This is Nigeria. In America, this man declares his assets. He will need a clean bill of health from the tax authorities to remain in office. In Nigeria, this man could have just paid his He self-estimated 3 years tax and continuing certificate, and he walks away. And the difference is that in the other climb, you will suspend all your business activities once you leave government. In this climb, it is not so. In the other climb, before he even dared to contest the election, he would have put up all his businesses into a trust. He wouldn't have been under his beck and call anymore until when he leaves office in order to avoid conflict of interest. In this climb, it is not so. If care is not taken, 90% of the contracts in that state will be done by surrogate companies. So, I'm not comfortable, really. I'm not. I want to see a society, a growing society like Nigeria, where you have a strong private sector and a very strong public sector in such a way and in such a manner that there will be no conflict of interest to grow the society. If we have a marriage of the private sector and the public sector, the way this Makinde case is looking like, then we will see how it really plays out in a society that corruption and mismanagement of the power of patronage is the bane of that society. I don't think I will clap if I hear tomorrow that Dangote has now emerged as the governor of his state. I will not clap at all. All I will not clap is that chances are that government house in his state will just be a stopover for him. Every other day is in the one plane or the other, up into one country or the other, to look after his business interests. And then when he comes to relax, he passes through government house. And that will not be good for the people of that state. So, he's already governor, a billionaire governor, by what he has declared. We will only pray and we will only hope that there will be no strong conflict of interest that will shortchange the people of Oyo State.
All right, we got your thoughts there. Chief Lovely. What are your thoughts here?
I may differ somehow here. But the big question here is how many non-billionaires have emerged as Nigerian governor before now? And how possible will it be for a non-billionaire to be a governor in Nigeria under this kind of constitution we have in Nigeria today, under the kind of reason, under the kind of thinking, under the kind of thinking cap where all Nigerians wear, under the kind of poverty that is ravaging the other Nigerians? How many non-billionaires can make it as a governor? Therefore, when the desirable is not available, the available becomes desirable until you are able to fight harder and get the desirable. I say this because even Trump, who is the president of America today, was a businessman, a billionaire, kind of. And that is even the only area I would have somehow agree with Lord Asher Frank, because if you begin to look at the character of Trump, the way he dishes a statement, it means that he doesn't know the meaning of poverty. So however anybody is feeling about hardship, Trump is not aware because he is a billionaire. He has been touching money. He may not know that there are people who do not have access to money. Here, the governor of Oyo State coming up with 40 billion naira worth of assets. Fine and good. I have no issues with that. If he has never occupied public office before and he's been able to acquire that kind of assets outside government, even if he's coming into government to acquire more assets, it means he must have gathered a lot of experience to manage people, assets, and the economy. Now, if it is in a country that things work out very, very well, this kind of assets he publicly declared, would have been scrutinized very, very well by CCB and any other authority that has that function. To know, because the possibility that someone may come to office and have 10 naira and declare that he has 100 naira is there. So that before he finishes office, he will not try to make up that 10 naira to be 100 naira. When you ask him, he said, I have it now. I told you I have 100 naira before. So let us see whether Governor Makinde is worth this kind of asset he declared. Or he just came up to make the pronouncement so that whenever he finishes in office, when you say he would tell that he has already declared this asset before. So I think that CCB must rise up to the occasion and do their job very, very well and confirm the assets. I know that the governor, even in River State, here have some establishments. I'm sure he may have other ones in Lagos or other places. He's into business. I know that very, very well. But 40 billion naira worth of assets is not money. It's not 1 naira. So the government must do something. You see, and I said here before that in River State here, I can mention 6 persons. If they bring out what they have to say, let us develop River State will develop. In Nigeria, yeah, if you bring just 100 persons and say, okay, just bring out all that is in your, not all, just half that is in your possession. Let us develop Nigeria. Nigeria will change. This is just a man who is just serving first term in office. He's declaring 40 billion naira worth of assets in Nigeria. Meanwhile, there are some persons who are looking for 1,000 naira job to do for a year, and they won't get in the same society. So Nigeria must begin to be creative. Nigeria must begin to change from our former ways, of our archaic ways, to, since we have embraced democracy, since we have embraced civility, we must do it in such a way that everybody, even if you are not a billionaire or you're not a millionaire, you should have access to something that can give you 3 square meals on your table on daily basis.
All right.
But if we make it, the disparity between the rich and the poor too wide, we will continue to have this kind of thing we're having, because some people are already see themselves as dead. So even if you're talking about making laws to say if you kidnap, you will die. They say they're already dead. Let them go and kidnap. And if they die, they die. But if you make life comfortable, make the society very reasonable to everybody.
There'll be a reason to live.
Somebody will not believe that I have a reason tomorrow. There is a brighter hope for me tomorrow. But the way it is today, we'll continue to witness what we are witnessing.
All right, then. And I also understand that for most people, it is not even the declaration in itself that's the problem. It's after service, after you've done your 4 years, your 8 years. I mean, is there also a public declaration of your assets now? And then what does CCB do to ensure that this truly, as you have declared your assets, remains to be true?
I think CCB is just being very dormant and waiting to winch hunt those who are not in the good book of the powers that be. That is what I'm saying, because the issue of asset declaration in this country has never really been taken seriously. In fact, just once in a while you get to hear about that. Let's take Rivers State, for instance. I've not heard in any paper anywhere that any governor of Rivers State from 1999 to date has declared assets. Publicly, we've not heard that. And I think it's something we need to give attention so that we are able to checkmate those who are representing us and getting to know whether or not they have managed the offices and the trust they were given very, very well. So I think it's something that needs to be done. Public office should be a place where we go for service, not where we go to immense wealth. And unless the issue of assets declaration is taken seriously and publicly done too, we will not be able to really, checkmate these issues. And when you get to office because you now have immunity, as you begin to, sit there and manage the affairs of the people, we look at what you are doing, because people like the EFCC, the ICPC, the CCB, they know how resources are moving within the system. Then they get to know at the end of your tenure whether or not your asset is as declared. It's not that you cannot get asset anyway, but it should be within the salary and allowances that you have been legitimately given. But when what you have gotten within your period in office cannot be explained, then it becomes a problem.
All right. Okay. Well, I did say that we're going to go into real talk for a moment there. And for real talk, we're looking at activities that we had on the 6th of July. Well, we had an anti-cultism summit. We'll particularly be listening to one of our speakers on that event. And from there, we'll carry on with the conversation.
Court, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
Real talk.
But
That
I mean,
means it is the head that is supposed to push the followers.
Today, 95.1 FM, we bring you insights, intrigues, and happenings on the local politics of the Niger Delta.
But if that property you have somewhere worth that 1 billion is tied to a fraud of state money, if you can prove it's your personal money, you didn't commit any crime.
Join us every weekday, 9:45 a.m. to 11 a.m. Real talk. Keeping it real.
Thank you very much. My name is Ken Henshaw. I'm the Executive Director of People. I was actually told to speak for 7 minutes, but the conversation has become a little more robust, so maybe 7 minutes by my time. Okay, so I was asked to speak about the role of civil society organizations, which is the constituency I belong to, in curbing the menace of cultism. Cultism, and I say that with a pun. In the last 4 months, my organization has monitored cases of extrajudicial and atrocious murders in Rivers State. Published a report in April 2019, and we titled it Routine Killings. In the month of April, we documented 16 incidents of atrocious killings that led to 46 deaths. 6 of those deaths were by beheading. In the month of May, we recorded 80 incidents of atrocious killings. 80, higher than Zamfara in that month. 80 cases, 41 was in one community. By all intents and purposes, anywhere else, that's called a massacre. They didn't even make headlines. 41 people murdered in one night. In the month of June, we documented a decline. Of course, 26 cases, and a couple of those were done through beheadings also. And that's what we've been doing. And recently, we called a town hall meeting where we brought an array of different stakeholders to have a conversation on how we're going to end this murderous rage going on in our state. That's what we've done thus far as a civil society organization. But I feel, I didn't have this previously in my notes, but I think it's important that we address issues of nomenclature and definitions very well, right? Because I think that, I'm a student of philosophy, and for you to adequately address the problem, you need to be able to first define that problem. And so I see this. The first time I got the invitation, I told Mr. Emmanuel Duque, listen, I'm going to have a problem with the title of your summit. It's a summit on anti-cultism. So the question I ask, what we are confronted with in Rivers State today, and indeed the Niger Delta, is it a problem of cultism? What is a cult? Cult is a system of veneration and worship. What is an occult? How do I use that? It's an obsession with the supernatural and the magical. Please, does any of these two definitions define what we see on the streets of Port Harcourt? It's not cultism we're dealing with, ladies and gentlemen. We're dealing with gangs. These are gangs. And what's a gang? A gang is a group of criminals perpetrating havoc and destruction. We're dealing with gangs. And so I will not use the word cult anymore. I will use gangs to describe them, because that's what they are. Moving forward, and please let's not play with cults. Belong to a cult, okay? I'm an Ekme initiate from Calabar, Cross River State. That's a cult. It's a system of worship. And many more people belong to traditional cult groups, masquerade groups and all that. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. In every other part of the world, you have got that. There's nothing wrong with that. So let's not destroy our culture and our common heritage in the name of fighting something that is totally different. Now, moving forward, I'll restrict my conversations around what can civil society organizations do. It's a constituency I belong to, and I've belonged to for the last 12 years. And so, ladies and gentlemen, what CSOs can do, identify what the drivers of this new rage of gangsterism are. What are the drivers? What's pushing it? What's driving it? What's driving the rise of gangs and the killings? Let me start with talking about unemployment statistics. There's a very popular saying that an idle man is a devil's workshop. I'll tell you a brief story. In January 2018, the Rivers State governor presented the budget speech for that year. And I looked at the figures and I was scared. So I immediately put together a briefing paper, and I appealed to the Rivers State House of Assembly to give me an audience where I would talk to them about what the figures were saying. I'm a budget analyst, and the figures were not saying nicely. So the government wanted to spend 22 billion naira on security and 6 billion naira on employment generation. And I said, no, turn it the other way around. Simple. Because for me, that budget did not adequately capture the relationship between insecurity and unemployment. And it was done. I went to the University House of Assembly. I met with the appropriations committee and I presented my findings to them and I gave them copies of it and I appealed to them to readdress the statistics you are giving because all the indicators are wrong in Rivers State. Guess what, guys? It wasn't done. Guess what happened in the last quarter of that year? Rivers State emerged with the state with the highest unemployment ratio in the entire country. Where do you have the highest gangsterism now? Rivers State, where you have that level of unemployment. So we have a teeming population of young people who have no jobs, who are unemployed, and even unemployable. Where do you want them to go to? Go to the backyard and commit suicide? No, they're going to feed. And then another key driver is the culture of violence. Ladies and gentlemen, we have grown a culture that strives, is sustained, and driven by violence. Look, when you mention names, Debam, Dewell, I don't even know their names, right? These are just clearing houses. They're clearing houses where merchants of violence have to align in order to perpetrate their trade. If you want to contest election, you have to align with PDP, APC, right? You know, if you want to sell violence, you align with a gang. The gang is not driving violence. It's people aligning. You know, you go join this one in order to have a clearing house. Because when the people who trade in violence want to look for traders, they look for a gang that has a name. That's what it is. We have grown a culture of violence in the Niger Delta and in Rivers State to the extent you can basically achieve nothing without some kind of violence. I schooled in this state, ladies and gentlemen. In the 90s, we saw this thing rising. We saw young men coming to school with machetes stuck in the back of their shirts, right down. It started very little by little. When Comprehensive and Baptists go jogging, they fight and then break, but we saw it rise. We didn't check it. So we grew a culture of violence, even in our language, but you know who I be, and all that. Another thing which I want this panel to very seriously consider is the question, why did this new upsurge of violence happen at exactly around the period of the 2019 elections? Why? Why this upsurge at this time? Is there a relationship between elections in Nigeria and gang activities and murders? Is there a relationship? And that's something we need to interrogate very deeply because I think there is a relationship. And both of them describe very vividly sour and gory images of people holding down fellow human beings and severing their heads. I tried killing a goat once. I didn't get through with it. When the goat started kicking, you know, like shaking and the spots of blood started coming out, I couldn't go through with it. A fellow man holds down another human being, takes up a kitchen knife and severs his head. Do you know the level?
9 minutes after 10, and I truly apologize. We had a few technical issues that we needed to sort out, but we came back right on time to be able to wrap up on the program. We had been looking on Real Talk, and comments credited to Ken Henshaw in our last summit, anti-cultism summit we had on the 6th of July, and he was speaking on how he didn't agree with the amnesty program and what he felt was the way forward. So let's not stop first. Let's just talk about the amnesty program. Emmanuel, you were the one actually giving it.
Certainly what I said in summary is that the amnesty program for me is not the right channel to resolve issues, because once somebody has been killed, those who are grieved and that person was so dear to them will never forget that. Even if you hand in your weapon and all that, if there is an opportunity to deal with you the same way you dealt with their brother or sister, will indeed fall on you. So when government come up with these variants of saying, okay, we're forgiving you, we'll give you amnesty, remember, whatever a snake bears will always remain long. And who knows whether that person has truly changed and will kill again. So I think amnesty is not the best way. I agree with Ken on that.
All right then. What do you think about that?
What I think we need to do is to see how we can fight criminality and not to pardon criminality with amnesty. But if we must give amnesty to those who have been involved in criminal acts, we must also look at those who have suffered from their criminal acts and be able to pacify those people also, so that they do not go back and try to go into revenge to avenge their person that had been killed or maimed or harmed in any way as a result of those actions. So when a group of people come out and say, okay, we want to take amnesty, and the government accepts to offer them amnesty, they should be given opportunity to confess the crimes they have committed, and those crimes are documented. An opportunity given to those who they have committed that crime against, and they call them together and see how they can pacify them, not to think about avenging, the action or the damage they have suffered as a result of this person that has repented today. Because we've seen a situation whereby the society is rewarding criminality. And a lot of people had to go into criminality because they want to get rewarded in society. Those who are cool-headed and have not done anything that harms the society are those roaming the streets. And before you know, those who have been involved in criminal acts are occupying positions of trust and responsibility in society, while those who have decided to be peaceful are not having that. So anything that has to do with amnesty should be back and forth. Those who have suffered it and those who perpetrated that act.
Okay, let me get to you now, Lord Asher Frank, on amnesty for cult members.
It is one of those dubious policies of Nigerian previous regimes. A country that refuses to put on its thinking cap and always thinks it can manage every issue and get away with it will always run into those kind of problems. As far as I'm concerned, the word amnesty is political. And the word amnesty all over the world that I know is only applicable to prisoners of conscience. What happens to criminals in best case scenarios is exchange for one thing or the other. A criminal in custody is exchanged maybe for vital information that will lead to the arrest of more criminals. Or a criminal under arrest or under interrogation is given some kind of parole in exchange for certain kind of vital support he could give to prosecuting agencies. I have never seen anywhere that murderous gangs are invited to state houses, giving state handshakes and paid state funds. It's only in Nigeria. I need anybody to correct me. I never had anywhere. And that tells you the level of the criminality of the leadership of the country. The leaders that decided to so reward known criminals can only have been their sponsors. What is the rationale? What is the logic? Even calling them courts to deify them is also a settlement on its own. How do you look at criminal gangs? The word court is hallowed. It's respected. It's like a church. It's like a mosque. Right? It has leadership. It has laws that binds members. When you see lawless gangs and you call them courts, automatically those who gave them those names to deify them has something to do with them. And that's why you want them to look good, to look fierce, to look menacing, to look feared by society. It's a settlement. You settle them by giving them a deifiable name and resettle them by giving them state handshake. And you settle them 3-4 times by giving them state funds. You even fly them overseas. While people who labor for their means of livelihood, people who would have become the building blocks of a better society, are allowed to wallow. I'm not surprised when one son was kidnapped some time ago and he came back telling Nigerians that they should give kidnappers amnesty. Say because they were losing laptop in the bush, say they were highly educated. Of course, if you are giving presidential handshake to common criminals, is it educated people who are kidnappers that you will not give them presidential handshake? So, the kind of policies that emanates from Nigerian power centers speaks volumes about the character of persons that occupy those places.
All right. Okay.
And as far as I'm concerned, amnesty to criminals is a clear indication of the fact that the people in power have something to do with those courts.
Okay.
Or those gangs.
Those gangs. All right, we got your thoughts there. Let me get to Chief Lofty Okere. What are your thoughts here when we talk about amnesty and cultists or repentant cultists?
Amnesty in Nigeria is becoming an outdated fashion. Former President Yaradua introduced it as a short-term measure to quell the problem that was in Niger Delta between 2007 and 2000 when he was the president. The problems were, he inherited it from President Obasanjo and decided to quell the situation and introduced amnesty as a short-term measure. And now in their proposal, one of the things in their proposal was that they were going to introduce certain human capital development programs that will now empower the use of Niger Delta. Not the idea of grouping people together at the end of every month. You give them money and then they say there's amnesty. Whereas so many Nigerians or so many youths of Niger Deltas who has gone to school or who wants to go to school, we are there at home, suffering, going to farm, trying to make ends meet, fishing, farming, and being involved in small trades. So anybody who has gone into criminality today, I'm thinking that he will get the support of anybody that will make government to grant him amnesty and begin to pay him money. The person should begin to have everything because government at all levels are no longer buying into it. But I get worried somehow because ethnicity, favoritism, nepotism, religion, that is the main issues and main problem of Nigeria. It has affected our political reasoning so much that former President Obasanjo introduced NDDC because he saw the need as at then. And if not the way it is being managed, NDDC was a very good organization to actually develop Niger Delta in a way, at least to solve 30 to 40% of infrastructural problem in Niger Delta. Now, before you know what is happening, because it was introduced in this region, I begin to hear Southeast Development Commission.
And Northeast.
Before you know what's happening, Southeast begin to ask for Southeast Development Commission. Now, the reason for which these commissions were established was relegated to the background. As if government just came up with it. As if government just we are just sharing things, let everybody have it, even when the need didn't arise. So, that is why you see anybody who come up today, he will go and kill 1, 2, 3 and say, give me amnesty.
But they were established as acts of parliament.
That's what I'm telling you. they try to pass it through the parliament. You see, in Nigeria, majority of the parliaments are regarded as a rubber stamp. When you agree so much with the executive, they call it a rubber stamp. So they'll package it and come, and it flies. That is why in National Assembly, it is not easy for you to get it through there, because you have so many persons that are interested as a result in their religion, in their ethnic group, in their whatever. But in the state, a governor will just go and package whatever and bring it in. They will stamp it for him and say it, and it goes. That is the law. So I want to say that amnesty is no longer a better way to go. The argument over gangsterism and courtesan, I saw that one now as a way maybe courtesan is trying to protect itself from trying to say that, look, we being a member of a particular court group does not mean that you are dangerous to the society. It's just an organized group. We don't harm. We're just like a religious body too, where if you come to the church and slap somebody in the church, the person may not say, because I'm in the church, I will not slap you back. That is what they are trying to explain to us. So if that is the case, I want whomever that is a court member, any court, please let us see what we can do to stop the gangsters, those ones that are gangsters, to give us peace in the society. So I don't want to go into that argument. We need peace in Nigeria. But for me, amnesty or whatever I call it, the meaning of amnesty, I used to hear that when somebody has gone to prison and come back, that he will receive a state pardon. Another name for state pardon is amnesty to the person now. So the other one is of paying people money after being involved in crime, is what I don't understand. So for me, amnesty is no longer.
So if we're not granting amnesty, what can we do to stop this escalation?
There are so many things we can do.
Activities.
So many things we can. Annie, the problem we are having is that the wealth of the nation are left in the hands of few persons, and they have continued to acquire and acquire and acquire. Even when they leave office, their mercenaries are still there. Get those channeling those resources, those wealth that's supposed to be distributed to everybody into their own pocket. Some will leave the system. Their companies are still running in government. Their brothers, their sisters, it's still recycling. The only thing we will do is that look at our society, look at our economy. How is it packaged? How will it get to the downstream? How will everybody benefit from it? Now we begin to build a better infrastructure in the society. Look at our schools. Look at our markets where the women goes to buy and sell. Look at our hospitals. If you build better hospitals, automatically people will work there. You create employment. You build better schools, you create employment. You generate electricity, which is the mainstream. That one, people will be self-employed in doing one thing or the other.
Okay.
But once all these things are not established in this country, if you like, bring hundreds of billions of naira and heap them, the country can never change.
Okay, Lord Asher Frank, if it's not amnesty, what's the way forward in curbing this rising cult activity?
If you ask me, the solution is just a one-liner. Electoral reforms. 99% of the people involved in gangsterism are not people who want to work. They are people who want quick, fast cash. They live on the high lane. Even the small court boys or gangsters you see in the communities, give them 5,000 naira, go and get crack. They buy crack for as much as 10,000 for a one-day take.
What is crack?
Yeah? Get what they take now. Only
Hand
one
drugs.
day. Only one day. They're ready to spend 10,000. Small boy. He doesn't have any other change. He don't hide. It's okay. These are not people. If you like build one industry per each street, they would like to go and vacate the company and collect money than to go and work there. They want to sit home and get paid.
So is it the lazy youth syndrome?
No. The reason why the gangs exist is because they have free cash from politicians, one, and they have patronage from politicians. They assume power because there is somebody in government that is behind them. That is it. The moment votes count and the gangs are no longer useful, they will cease to exist. look at the trend. There's a trend now. We're already seeing a trend after 2-3 elections. Immediately after a general election in Nigeria, you will see high rate of insecurity. Why is it always after a general election? It's because before the general election, group of bandits have been packaged by politicians. Immediately after election, it's like in Ahoda where I come from. They will tell you that when you prepare a man so much for a wrestling contest, and he gets there, and the contest is no longer as contentious as expected, that the power inside him will be intoxicating him. You are expecting war. You have been prepared for war. Unfortunately, you met other opponents that are not so prepared. What happens? Immediately after the election, you now go on the streets. The power now intoxicates you. We have seen a trend. Banditry in Nigeria is always worse immediately after a general election. That's the trend we are seeing.
All right then.
So where did this trend come from?
You're hitting on electoral reforms.
Electoral reform.
All
Reform
right,
the election so that votes count.
All right then.
And the gangs will cease to exist.
All right, we got your thoughts.
I think
Fine system of menu.
Yeah, I think one way we can address this issue is by looking at how to keep the boys, the youths who are involved in these banditry cult activities busy by creating jobs and employment for them. And that is why we need to look at our soil again. If we will return to farming, if we return to fishing, if we return to animal husbandry, if industries can be created, if the investments and money that people take away from states and countries from the country to other places can be invested in this country, I think we can get something. All around us, like in Rivers State, we are along the waterways. There are 1,001 businesses we can do with our water that we have here. Despite the level of pollution we have, there are still things we can do that can keep these people busy. I think we need to look inwards and then create jobs for these people so that they will no longer be available to be armed by the politicians to go and create havoc.
All right, Emmanuel Ndukwe, if it's not...
I certainly believe it's employment opportunity, creation of opportunity
employment
for
opportunities.
Because I tell you, it is a great privilege even for a state to give one amnesty. It should end at that, not attaching it money. Every month you pay that person. And if the person insists that he must go back to gangsterism or cultism or whatever, then the law should take its course. What of those who are not into all those things, who are not even engaged? Are they? Is the state being fair to them? So why would some people select themselves and say, no, we must go the wrong way? You bring them back and be paying them.
So punish them.
Of course. Punish them if they refuse the amnesty, because the amnesty suffices. Yes.
Okay, good. So you agree that there should be amnesty?
No, see. As soon as you call people and say, well, we have accepted you repentance is allowed. But what I'm saying that is bad in it is to continuously be paying them every month. For what now? But if you create employment opportunities, yes, they could be absorbed there.
But then that's the issue again, is that when they say, oh, we're repentant and you grant an amnesty, that you have people, the locals who live there, who are angered by the actions of these people. Yeah. And then as government, you've just come and waved away all their pain by saying, well, they're repentant. Look, we can't do anything to them.
I said it's not a phenomenon that should be welcome. But I'm only saying to make it, because a man that was getting 20,000 every month, and then you say, okay, now you've repented, we've granted amnesty. He may be looking, 20,000 is not coming, but it will be easy for him to go back. That's why I'm saying the law itself should take the cost. Then, if you generate employment, both those who tend to criminality and those who are maybe repentant or whatever should be gainfully employed.
Okay, we got your thoughts. Let me quickly get to the message portal that you can be part of the conversation here. I think we've had 3 things that we spoke about earlier. We spoke about former President Obasanjo's letter to President Buhari, open letter, and he asked that there be a referendum, some sort of, not a referendum, sorry, national confab was what he asked for. He says Nigeria is at a precipice. And then we also looked at Balarabe Musa, who spoke about protest. He says that what we need to do is protest, an anti-Buhari protest. He says we need to come out as a people and demonstrate that force in pushing the government of the day to doing the right things. And then we also spoke about Abiodun of Oyo State, governor of Oyo State, who declared his assets publicly, and he has ranging over 48 billion naira in assets in assets and all. Yeah. And the idea is, as much as we commend the public declaration of assets, how does that stop from public pilfering of funds by public officers? Does just admitting that this is what you have prior to entering government stop you from pilfering? And what strength does the CCB have in itself to make sure that, well, your assets upon leaving office are genuinely looked into, and that the difference in what you had before you entered and what you have now can be reasonably explained by your source of wealth? And then from that, we looked at our anti-cultism summit that we had. One of the speakers, Ken Henshaw, was talking about cultism, and for him, he believed that the amnesty program couldn't help in fixing the problem of cultism as we had it here. And we wanted, of course, to get your thoughts. If amnesty cannot fix it, what will? So send your thoughts to us on 0701-933-9962, or you can call us on 0810-951-0951 or 0817-000951. You can also go on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @TodayFM951, or on Facebook, like our Facebook page, Today 95.1 FM. And let's get your thoughts on these issues. This text message here says, Annie, all these back and forth discourses on Nigerian political and economic history, letter writing, call for protest, etc., though may form part of our political evolution, can never solve the present quagmire. Rather, let us press for an all-embracing national confab that will peacefully address the way forward. For me, restructuring the country is to an extent is the panacea. This is from James Opongwa. He sent that in from Port Harcourt, Uzoba, Port Harcourt. Then we have here, and apart from Yaradua, I haven't seen any other public office holder declaring their assets and making it public, or your governor made his assets public and is free for anybody to have a copy. He gave detailed value of each asset. When has it become a taboo for a rich person to hold public office? Why is it that Mr. Asha Frank doesn't see anything good in any opposition, no matter how noble it seems? Did Mr. President make his assets public as Mr. Integrity? Ogidi, you sent that in his first tenure. Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did.
He did in his first tenure. In this, he particularly said they shouldn't even make it public, as he said that, I can't remember what he said was going to happen. He says that his opponents
we use it against
him. Moving on, the Oyo governor has done what Buhari did not want to do. The governor shouldn't be crucified for legitimately acquiring wealth. It is better for a rich and wealthy man to be a leader than a poor man. Nothing to fear about declaring assets if you have 500 billion naira. This is from Mr. Law. And we also have here this, I think, Mr. Law, you just sent that text. I read it earlier. All right, let me get to the phone lines. 0810-951-0951 or 0817-000951. Those are the numbers you need to call to get through to us. Let's get your thoughts on the issues as we've had today. This text here says, I think this is for a WhatsApp post. Let me see if I can read that. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. What's your name?
Remembrance. I remember calling from Port Harcourt.
Remembrance from Port Harcourt.
Yes. Greeting to Ogema.
Good morning.
Lord Asha Frank.
Yeah, good morning. Go ahead. You can all hear you. Just go ahead.
Thank you.
Yes. Speaking about the Oyo State governor, the present governor of Oyo State, declaring his 48 billion naira assets. What I want to know is he occupying any political position before he go back to the governorship position? That is question number one. Then two, I also want CCB to find out if the man those said that he declared, let it be that those things are in place, as in they are in position, they are in physical reality. It will not be tomorrow, after he finishes his governorship position, then those things, he will come to claim that, of course, I have declared that I have those things, while by reality, those things are not existing. So that should be what CCB should have to make sure that those things are there before they came to believe it. That's my own take on that.
All right, we got your thoughts there. Thank you very much. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Annie, good morning. This is DK in Port Harcourt.
All right, DK, good to have you. Go ahead.
My greetings also to your guests in the studio.
Thank you very much.
I agree with Lord Frank that message is always colored by the messenger. You remember our discussion a few days ago about this different fashion of history. Then you agree with him. Away from that is for me to talk about Chief Obasanjo's letter. I'm not against the letter per se, but the intent, the motivation behind the letter. Chief Obasanjo always right when he has issue to settle with any president at the time. He wrote Jonathan when he was board of trustee chairman was taken away from him, given to Tony Anini. His letter now, at the general level, I think it's a continuation of a PDP orchestrated campaign of calumny against Buhari government. At a personal level, I think his letter is meant to undermine this government so that Buhari will not have the stability to probe him for the $15 billion in electricity appropriation, which he said during the campaign. And we see that our Baba Obasanjo is succeeding because under this tension, I doubt how EFCC can go after him without people saying it's because of his criticism. So I suggest that the solution to our present problem is for politicians, including our Baba, to stop planning ambers of ethnic and religious violence. His seed of Fulanization is already bearing the fruit of Fulani phobia. So that is the sorry story of our country.
All right.
Thank you.
We got your thoughts on then a lot of Fulani-phobia, Fulanization. All right, which is one of the things Obasanjo did say. He says, this sort of rumors will spread fear. And with fear, we might begin to see an action that will lead to a pogrom. And he says that, therefore, it is of utmost necessity that we do something to stop that. And under OBJ, Bola Ige was killed. Likewise, AK, I think that the Kubo.
AK Dikibo.
Dikibo.
Marshal
All
Harry.
right, Marshal Harry, Funsho Williams, Olagbaju, Prince Dipo Dina, and a whole lot of others. Ajibande Ore, Ofasu, Oshu, Town to Okada is a very dangerous route on that OBJ. And he didn't do anything. Even night buses at that time did not move without police escorts. At the first time, FRSC have to ban night traveling. But now night traveling at night is very smooth. That small buses also travel at night. Ola, you sent that in from Port Harcourt. Hello, today 95.1 FM. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Annie.
Yes, hello, what's your name and where are you calling from? Hello. Okay, this here says, please, Annie. Good morning, Annie, and your guest in the studio. Please, Annie, tell Asha Frank that all he's saying and analyzing this morning is what is killing us today. How can he leave the issues on ground now that is dangerous to the unity of Nigeria to be analyzing the persons who are speaking out? Please, Annie, times that we don't need this kind of talk. Well, you're already saying it yourself. I don't need to retell him. He says what we seek is solutions. Another here says, Mr. Frank, I'm disappointed in your assertions. The issues raised by Obasanjo is very glaring. Are you saying that because insecurity was inherent in Obasanjo's time, he should not advise the government? Let me tell you the bitter truth. We have not been divided like this before.
I refuse to agree.
All right. Let me tell you that the road to Rwanda is very close.
It's
Muted
not.
from Ireibe.
It's very far.
Please, the road to Rwanda is very far. If I told anything else, let's not draw it close. Good morning. Grant from Umuze in Omuma local government area. He says, I like your program. God bless you all. He says, Obasanjo writing an open letter to the president. It doesn't matter. My advice to Obasanjo is to join the president to tackle the insecurity in Nigeria. Hello, today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Good morning, Annie.
Yes, good morning. What's your name?
Yeah, this is Muso, aka Truth is Zipper.
All right, good to have you. Go ahead.
My dear sister, in my place, they think that you see somebody where for this case taboo, my ego. But I will announce this to you. Obasanjo has delivered his message as a prophet. That is left for the people. Like when Jonathan said the land of Nineveh, he revealed that you Nineveh, repent, for the destruction of the Lord is at hand. Every king and the people, those who hated him and those who killed his father, They all join the hands in fasting and prayer. But what about his message? The question is this message, is it right? So the answer yes, this message is a correct message. It's for us to change our method of things. They have in their shoe, they don't actual friends. It's the immediate that if you don't look at your friend in this committee, the person will spoil. There is nothing ever he supported that is good. Always one-sided in everything. We thank you for politics. But that's our message. We are in trouble in this country. This government should step down. A country that has messed up at the end of father. People are witnessing, appointed by the same government, and today, father is everywhere, and they are still denying. My dear sister, ask us to come to leave that studio. Don't bring this by exclusive confusion. That's an mind.
Hello.
Hello, today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Annie.
Good morning. What's your name? And where are you calling from?
Yes, my name is Ambusi Chima. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
All right, Mr. Chima, good to have you. Go ahead.
Yes, Annie, the issue of the letter to Mr. President, I think the issue of that letter has to be addressed irrespective of the messenger that sent that letter. I think it has to be addressed immediately because the way and the manner Mr. President is handling this thing, it looks as if there is a collaboration, so to say, honestly, because Mr. President is treating this issue with levity. Ever since Nigeria declined every day, and he has never come out to make a strong statement regarding what is happening in Nigeria. Till today, he has never come out. So that letter has to be, you have to concentrate on that letter. Very, very important. It's urgent because Nigeria in a state of quagmire. As I'm talking to you, then on the amnesty. Now I have said over and over again, amnesty has been abused by our politicians on how it's being given. Amnesty is a pardon granted to the criminal after he has felt the firepower of government. Yes, after he has been dealt with, yes, you can grant him amnesty. But what are we seeing here? Reverse is the case. Somebody who just came out, he has never even genuinely repented, and he will be granted amnesty. And when you are doing it this way, you are making crime so lucrative. We all that are good Nigerians, I mean, we are doing the best we can to be able to cope up with the situation. Nobody has a monopoly of violence or has a monopoly of carrying guns. Everybody can do that. But we decided to go by because of how the situation is. And I think I discourage amnesty because when you give amnesty, you are making crime so lucrative. You are giving wrong precedent to upcoming ones who see these people the way and manner they love this money and they want to talk the same path. So I disagree with amnesty. Thank you.
All right, we got your thoughts. Thank you so much. This here says, Annie, the psychology of the man determines his worldview. The psychology of OBJ is being that of a colossus bestriding the narrow path while others scurry underneath his feet. The bloodiest student protest was recorded in his days as a military jack. He replayed such toxic temperament in a small fishing hamlet in the south of Nigeria. What does he want? Friday Olu, you sent that in from Choba. Good morning, Annie and Ima. Do you know that during the first so-called amnesty, even old men and women and young boys are also still benefiting from this amnesty? Amnesty registration then has some nepotic traces. Thanks. Yeri Oba, you sent that in. Good morning. Genuine solution to insecurity will soon come now that they have started killing the elites and their relations. This is from Mike in Port Harcourt. And Comrade Austin Omachi Uwebilo says he's sending this from Rumalu Town, Obiakpo. Good morning, all. How are you, Lord Asher Frank? You see, Annie, our political leaders, past and present, are victims of insecurity in Nigerian states. They love talking more of darkness instead of turning to light. But the solution to darkness is light, the solution to hatred is love, and the solution to evil is good attitude at all times. Lord Asher Frank, please think with me.
Thank you.
All right. Annie, Southeast Development Commission ought to be after the Civil War, as Gowon declared the 3R is intended to address devastation as today in the Northeast. This is from Mr. Okeazu. Another says, if you try street protest, Buhari's army and police will take you down because APC are not interested in restructuring. This is Godson from Port Harcourt. Mr. Asher Frank said that OBJ's letter sounded like one who knew or in part of the security in Nigeria, I can see he's a good judge and decipher of intent and purpose. I'll therefore like him to tell me in the same vein the intent of Mr. President when he said in 2013 that an attack on Boko Haram is an attack on the North. Biasness does not pay. You reap what you sow. Sonny from Port Harcourt, he sent that in. Another here said, was it not under OBJ's watch that there was killings of Southerners in the North and retaliation here in the South? What did he do to stop that? Kingsley, he sent that in. And apart from Yaradua, okay, that's from Ogidi. I think I read that earlier. Lord Asher Frank, greetings, Hani, and the brilliant guest in the studio. Please, presenter, I would have so loved to comment on what they call amnesty because I'm always provoked each time I hear that term. Because what I have come to realize in this country is the elites are taking the educated for granted. And I so believe that someday, sometime, the educated ones will come up with a vision or a version that everybody will be shocked because crime is always rewarded in this country. Lord Frank, may God bless you for your articulated views. I'm always pleased whenever you're in the studio. Carlton, you sent that in. Lord Asher Frank, don't justify the killings of Nigerians in South Africa. Honorable Ambu Chukwu Uzoma. I think you're referring to Chief Loveday. Okay, he was the one that says of our actions in these areas. And he particularly said, was it you who said our actions or you said our actions?
No, Lord Asher Frank said the
actions
people
of Nigeria.
who went to Nigeria initially were Yahoo boys.
That was Lord Asher Frank, I agree. That was what he said.
I'm not justifying.
But I don't think that was justified. But he did mean to say that our actions too are not entirely.
I said the same thing.
And
check yourself, your actions today in another man's life.
But then I did say,
but
I did say that the killings will have been understood if it was the government who was saying you have done something bad and it's against the law here and so and so, therefore you die. But not when you have the citizens of that country, mob actions killing, regardless how unhealthy some of our actions may be there.
Yeah.
Annie and the guest in the studio, I greet you on the OBJ's letter to Buhari. Buhari should gladly receive and act fast on the letter and leave the messenger on amnesty issue. I believe it's a scam. Onaika Iyang, you sent that in. Hello, good morning. Today 95.1 FM.
Yes, Annie, good morning. And good morning to
good morning, what's your name?
Okay, my name is Kingsley Onwoka. I'm calling from Unicorn.
All right, Kingsley, go ahead.
Okay, Annie, when it comes to Obasanjo and his messages, I've always said we should leave the messenger and take the message. The expediency of Obasanjo's message is what we should be considering over and above his personality or even his antecedents. The need for a national discourse.
Hello?
Annie.
Yes, go ahead.
The need for a national discourse, especially at this time, cannot be overemphasized, irrespective of who the advocate is. That is simply my opinion. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And that's about it. This is where we need to wrap up on the show. Fine face to the minute, fine face.
Yeah, let's begin with the issue of the letter by Obasanjo. I still believe that we can look into the content of that letter, irrespective of the fact that it came from a man who has been former president, and maybe some of the issues we are having today as it is developed under his wings. I think the journalists across the country should go on the streets and seek the opinion of a lot of people and bring it into national discussion on how to come over this problem of insecurity in the country. We must channel our resources to developing the youths and of course the country and not spending it on security issues when we can as well be able to use that resources perfectly. So I support the fact that everybody should contribute to the issue of security in this country to be resolved.
All right, thank you so much, Fine Face Dimna, Fine Face Public Affairs Analyst and Mossop Spokesman. Lord Asher Frank.
Thank you very much. As far as I'm concerned, a national conference is a no-no. As far as I'm concerned, it's a national conference in a properly constituted government that is elected to represent the people. Is an ambush on the government. It's a way of trying to get to power through a back door. If Nigerians have elected their representatives at all levels, within the tenure of their office, they represent us. If you have any opinion, if you have any idea on how to move Nigeria forward, engage the elected representatives of the people. You don't create anarchic situations after general elections.
All right.
So, for me, in the area of amnesty, as far as I am concerned, politicians should disengage themselves from getting involved with gangs. or the laws of the land should start catching the politicians, not just small boys. Don't leave their orga and go and catch those small boys and keep parading them in the police stations. Go catch the senators, the governors, and those people who are the people who are sponsoring them. Those who enjoy amnesty, no problem. Keep investigating them. The day they leave office, you arrest them immediately after the handover and put them in prison. And the gangs will scatter. Why you create ways and means of making sure that people make wealth? People that are genuine, who are serious to work, people that have put themselves into productive ventures, people who are ready to move their life forward. Create opportunities for them within the system. That's the reason why government is there in the first instance.
All right, then. Lord Asher Frank, Monarch Publishing Leader of the Bridge Organization, thank you so much. And then Chief Lovedale Kerry.
Yeah, talking about Obasanjo's letter. Obasanjo has not, there's nothing new in what Obasanjo wrote than what every other Nigerian have observed. We have observed insecurity, we have observed killings, we have observed courtesan, banditry, whatever poor economic situation in the country. We have been talking about this. We're only discussing it now because it is the name of Obasanjo that has written. However, most of the contents that are in that letter are things that every Nigerian has been worried about and has been calling for it to be properly discussed. And I'm sure that if we discuss some of those things there, the problems in the country will be handled. However, a call for national confab is a call for another way of wastages. We waste our time, we waste our money, and at the end of the day, nothing comes out. Therefore, I'm still calling on the National Assembly to sit up and perform their duty so that other people will not take advantage of the situation and begin to ambush the government, as a lot of Asha Frank have said.
All right,
then finally, on the issue of absent declaration, I want to say that if what the governor have declared is exactly is a reality, it's a welcome development, is in line, but I would like to hear from CCB within the shortest possible time confirming that declaration so that Nigeria will move forward.
Thank you so much, Chief Lovedale Kerry, social political analyst. Emmanuel Ndukwe.
Well, certainly, Chief Obasanjo's letter should be given attention because it mentions salient points. Government should give it proper attention, irrespective of whoever is saying it. But Chief Obasanjo should utilize the opportunity, the privilege he has in getting to the president and not always coming to present himself as holier than holiness itself.
All right, then. Thank you so much. This is where we wrap up on the show. We had to take a little bit more time because of the break we had in transmission earlier on. But stay tuned. Coming up is Entertainment Express with Andrew. I am Annie, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
This is Today 95.1 FM. To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
They are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
To stay connected all day, press 1.
The person who raised the alarm is the one who made the public know about
it. Good afternoon and welcome to the World News on your Premium Talk Radio station.
We are your Premium Talk Radio station. Today 95.1 FM, the station with a unique dial.
Radio has never been this good. Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
You got a fetish for my love. Been waiting for a lifetime for you.
Listen to Entertainment Today every weekday at 11:30 a.m.
And I'm so I don't even mind loving you.
Every weekday at 11:30 a.m.
Only on Today 95.1 FM.
Voice of the people. You got a fetish for my love. Been waiting for a lifetime for you.
Listen to Entertainment Today every weekday at 11:30 a.m.
And I'm so I don't even mind loving you.
Every weekday at 11:30 a.m.
Only on Today 95.1 FM.
Voice of the people.
Me two time, Toto. That's Wheezy right there. I'd like to say happy birthday to Wizkid, man. Today is his birthday, and that song you just listened to, Totori, is Idi Kabasa, Wizkid, and Olamide all together. I mean, it's been a long time we saw Idi Kabasa. It's really great to have the guy come out with this one out of nowhere. And then, honestly, I could tell you one thing for sure. The song is actually Totorin me. Like, if there's a word like Totorin me, the song is. I'm the coolest kid on radio, the guy you just have to love. You can call me Trace. And this is our Waka Stay Tuesday right here on Entertainment Today, on Today 95.1 FM. And on Waka Stay Tuesday, we've got lovely songs to put out for you guys. You know how we normally do it? We play a song from a young up-and-coming act, and then you get to listen to it. And then if you like it, you call me up, you tell me stay. If you don't like it, you call me up, you say Waka. It's easy as that. Easy peasy. But let me quickly give you some facts about Wizkid. You know Wizkid's father got married to 3 wives. Yes, Wizkid started singing at age 11. Wizkid was also present at OJB studio when Two-Face was recording some of the tracks for his album Grass to Grace. Yes, I told you first. Wizkid also formed the band while he was in church. They were called what? The Glorious Five? Yes, that was what they were called at the time. They even dropped an album. It was nothing we could talk about, so we're not talking about it. And OJB, when he met Wizkid, actually made Wizkid stop singing for a whole year. The guy would just come and sit in the studio and observe. That was it. Like, so now the guy is doing great. I think you should understand why. Because he was also mentored and coached by who else? Nato C. So then, amongst the many people, of course, Banky W played a role in his life, a lot of other people, but Nato C was one of the first persons alongside OJB. And above all, Wizkid was also present when Sound Sultan was recording Jambanjantis, the album. You know, that tells you how way back Wizkid goes. He was 11 when he started singing. Think about it. So happy birthday to a legend of his own time, Wizkid. And shout outs to every other person who's celebrating alongside Wizkid today. Happy birthday to all of you. We celebrate you guys as well. But let me quickly step things up a little bit to the BBN sector, right? Yeah, BBN Ninja. Many people have been calling for the scrap of that show. Yeah. Many people have been saying that the reality show Big Brother Ninja isn't really worth watching. Like, what do we learn? What is there to gain? What does it teach? You know, many questions come out. And many people are saying, yo, scrap it, take it out, take it away. We don't want it. Well, some new people just joined the long queue of people who don't want us to be, feasting our eyes with what we see from the BBN, and they are the Muslim group Murik. Remember, they also took shots at Fowles when he did the song This Is Nigeria. All right, yeah, they took him to court, and then he did another song. I want to be me talk. I got Murik, show up for courts. Like, I'm just trying to get the lyrics to the song. Anyways, that was Fowles there. Now, Murik now, the director of Murik, Professor Ishak Akimbola, has now labeled the reality show Big Brother Ninja as immoral, dangerous, and bohemian, whatever that means, Pick up your dictionary. I don't have time to explain. And he was angry and said he doesn't know why the Ministry of Information and the National Orientation Agency haven't done anything about tackling that, program. Why did they allow it go on? And I'd be like, yo, really? Is that the only dangerous thing we have in Nigeria right now, the BBN? Well, what can I say? Well, some other people find some other kind of relationships dangerous, and so they leave. Oladips left Reminisce because he felt like it was toxic. He wasn't getting what he wanted until he left the record label. And a lot of revelations were made after he left. In fact, the latest revelation was, he said, according to the man, when he left the label, he had only 28,000. Oh, sorry, I added 5,000 to it. He had only 23,000 naira in his account when he left Reminisce. I feel like, because I'm a huge fan of Oladips. Like, the brother is good. I like how he raps. I mean, it's just straight out the street. So shout outs to all the dips. But man, living a label with just 23,000 naira isn't something you want to ever do. Can you survive on 23,000 naira for a month? Trust me, I don't think you can't. You can. You can manage or survive. I don't know. But that was what he left with. And we also know that a lot of other people have talked about their various contracts with different record labels. DVE was talking about his label contract with Demi V, his contract with Flyboy Inc. and how it wasn't cool. And so many other people who've left their labels. Well, all the dips find a way to do it. And some other people find it difficult to break up. It's easy to break up from a label, but it's not very easy to break up from a relationship, especially when you've had sex with the person. Not me. I didn't say it. Juliet Ibrahim actually said this one. She says it's quite difficult to break up with someone and leave them the moment you've had sex with them. And I'd be like, really easy how you left Iceberg Slim. I guess you guys never had sex because, you started dating in 2017, left him in 2018. Pretty simple. How difficult can that be? I can see how hard it is. It's really hard. Yeah. So yeah, you can learn something. She says it's really hard. I mean, she says, how many of you know that it's harder for you to break up with someone you've slept with versus someone you haven't slept with? And that's why I was making the point. Obviously, she hadn't slept with Iceberg Slim. Remember, they were dating in 2017. She's the Ghanaian actress. The guy's a Nigerian rapper based in the UK. They were dating for a while, up to about a year. It wasn't up to a year. If you want to add when they met and had this idea, 2017, 2018, they split. So obviously, they didn't have sex. Hence, it was very fast. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yes, I know you get my point. Let's travel abroad. We're really running out of time. I wish I could. I really want to do the Waka Stay Tuesday, and I'll do my best to get there. But let me quickly tell you something about Nipsey Hussle. His soul rest in peace. Amen. But the brother might be dead and gone. But just like Michael Jackson, things around him still keep coming up. It's been all positives lately. But now, something not so positive is kicking up. It's concerning his Marathon clothing shop, which is housed in a strip mall, and investigations were already on that particular property before he died, and now the investigations have continued. I like the American police. They paid respect to the guy. The brother died, family's mourning. They paused the whole investigation. Give them time to grieve. This is Nigeria. Can that happen? I don't know. But man, shout outs to these guys. Even if they still want to continue with the investigation now, they have to. According to the Los Angeles Police Department, they think that strip mall, the Marathon clothing where it's found, it's actually a place for gang activities. So they haven't proven that yet. They're trying to find out facts. So we're going to wait and keep our fingers crossed and see if they find out anything at all. All right, guys, that's how we wrap up the story part of the show. We really don't have a lot of time, all right? We came up way late because if you observed, we went off air for a short period of time, so we had to make up for it. But now I'm going to play you a song. It's titled Money by Mass. All right, Mass is my brother from Bielsa, all right, from another mother, if you want to put it that way. It titled the song Money. So I'm going to play the song for you in the next 2 minutes or 1 minute, and I think I'll try to take 1 or 2 calls. But this is what's going to happen. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with it. I'll play the song, you listen to the song. If you like the song, you call me up, you tell me stay. Okay, very simple. If you don't like the song, you call me up, you say Waka, and we kick it out. Now, if we get more stays than Waka, we got to play the song more often. If we get more Waka than stays, we kick it out, throw it in the trash, and empty the trash and the trash with the song altogether. Get out. We don't want any of them. But the power is now in your hands. So make your choice and hold your phones and open your ears and enjoy this lovely tune about to drop for you. Money, Mass on this one. We'll be right back.
Say what's in your heart. Oh, no, yeah. Right now. Call me my soul. Yeah. Oh, yeah, now. See, money be the cause of the trouble. Money has to settle the trouble. Money make the bad guys too humble. Oh, yeah, now. Money is the cause of the heartbreak. Money make the good girl to turn bad. Money make my Gary to turn sad. Money make the world to the spin around. Money punish me, but I can't shout. Money turn my girlfriend to Arab. Father, lots of my verse, bless my fingers. I don't want all my blessings to linger. All because of the money, I know if it promotes my song. Shout out to all my story, Lord. Shout out to all my Nageke, to all my people for a Jekunle, Sheba Lubari Kale, we'll be making the money la Shele Dua. Shout out to all my Ojota, Shomolu. Shout out to all my Lebute Metao. To all my people for Idu Matao, Sheba Lubari Kale, we'll be making the money la Shele Dua.
All right, now now. You heard that song just a little bit right there. Mass, title, Money. It's a lovely joint. The brother has a couple of other songs after this one, but this is one that I figure we put on the show and let you guys criticize. So tell me what you think. If you like it, you just need to call me up and tell me stay if you like it. If you don't like it, you call me up and you say waka. It's easy peasy, simple as that. ABC. You need to just call me up on 081700000951. Number again, 081700000951. Or you call me up on 081095100951. Ladies and gentlemen, we're running out of time, but I'll do my best to take what I can take on the show. You can also send a text message, all right, if you vibe to the song, 0701-933-9962. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Victor.
All right. Stay. All right, Victor, stay it is. Thank you very much. All right, very easy, straight to the point. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
You stay for me.
All right, stay for you it is. Shout outs to you too. Thank you very much. We've got 2 stays now, and we're still counting. Now, if you're watching me on Facebook Live at the moment and you want to drop your comments, it's pretty simple. Just write stay on screen. I'll take it. All right, thank you very much. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Good morning. This is President. We're calling from Obunaba.
Okay, so what do you think about the joint? Stay or waka?
Stay.
Stay it is. Thank you very much. We've got 3 stays and we've got 2 minutes left before we wrap things up on the show. What am I saying? 1 minute and 20 seconds now. All right, guys. So be as fast as you can with your calls. We'll take them as many as we can. All right. Hello to the 95.1 FM. Good morning. All right. Can you please speak up, young lady? We could barely hear you. Hello. Okay, Riri, you're welcome. Can I call you Riri?
Okay.
All right, so Wakao stay. Oh, good. I shouldn't have called you Riri, because bad girl Riri just killed everything, just effed up the network. Anyways, let me go back to the joint. Listen to it one more time. You're definitely going to want to make an opinion heard. Money by Mass.
You say what's in your heart? Oh, no, no. Money be the cause of the trouble. Money has to settle the trouble. Money make the bad guys too humble. Where now? Money is the cause of the heartbreak. Money make the good girl to turn bad. Money make my Gary to turn sad.
Man, we're running out of time. In fact, we are out of time, but we could see what we do with one more call, and then we call it quits on this part of the show and move on to the word news, which is coming up a few seconds from now. So what do you think about this song, Money? Do you like it? If you like it, call me up and tell me stay. If you don't like it, call me up and tell me waka. The lines are open, 081700000951 or 081095100951. And this is the only call we can take as we wrap up. Hello to the 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Yes, Lisa.
Oh, Riri. Okay, stay it is. Bad girl Riri. Thank you very much. And you are ending the show for us today, man. You're going to hear this song off and on the show other times, but for now, you guys to listen to the news. So don't touch your dial. I'm still the coolest kid on the radio, the guy you just have to love. You can call me Trace, and bye-bye for now.
We'll be making the money like
Whether it's happening in Port Harcourt, South, Nigeria, or around the world, we've got you covered. On air, online, delivering balanced news and unbiased analysis. Today, 95.1 FM.
This is Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. News.
Hey, good afternoon, and this is the World News on your Premium Talk Radio Today 95.1 FM Port Harcourt. I am Ifeemi Andrew. On the headlines, NEMA confirms death of 9 persons following building collapse in Jos. President Muhammadu Buhari's lawyers play video clip at Presidential Election Petition Tribunal countering PDP's claim of electronic transmission of 2019 election results. River State Police Command smashes kidnappers' den in Omerlu in Ikuri local government area. And on the foreign scene, 4 U.S. congresswomen dismissed Donald Trump's racist remark about them as distraction. And now, the details. 9 persons have been confirmed dead, while 2 others have been rescued after a building collapsed in Jos, the Plateau State capital. The figure was given by the head of rescue operations in the National Emergency Management Agency, Nuruddin, who also noted that the rescue operation is still ongoing with evacuator machinery mobilized to the site of the collapse. The joint rescue effort is being carried out by the National Emergency Management Agency, the Plateau State Emergency Agency, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps officers, the Fire Brigade, police officers, and members of the Nigerian Red Cross Society. The search and rescue operators, however, lamented that their operation has been hindered by the crowd. And President Muhammadu Buhari's legal team has played a video clip at the hearing of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal showing the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, expressing fear about the possibility of deploying electronic transmission of results for the 2019 general elections. Yakubu appeared in the clip in a one-on-one interview with the INEC chairman shown on Channels Television on February 6, 2019, citing the problems of communication, poor coverage of 2G, 3G, 4G networks in the country, let alone 5G that was yet to be available in Nigeria, and the issues of cybersecurity as militating against the possibility of deployment of electronic transmission of results during the election. INEC chairman was seen as saying in the clip that discussion with network providers was ongoing, but added that the commission still needs to do a lot more before it can use the technology of transmitting the results of elections. Under cross-examination by Buhari's lawyer, Alex Ezinyo, the petitioner's 40th witness, Shegun Showomi, through whom the petitioners tendered 48 VCDs on Monday, confirmed that Channels TV's logo appeared on the 3-minute-long clip. The petitioners, the People's Democratic Party, and its presidential candidate, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, opposed the admissibility of the VCD as an exhibit. But the 5-man tribunal led by Justice Mohammed Garba